Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Houston.
Live from Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the finale of this three-game series. The Astros take on the defending NLC champion Milwaukee Brewers. Good afternoon, everybody, on a rainy day from the Northland. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays, and the Astros try to snap this string of 11 straight Milwaukee wins over them, JD.
Yeah, the Astros have been really swinging the bats well in this series, double-digit hits in each of the first two games, but nothing to show for it. In the win column, Jose Altuve had 2 hits in each of the first 2 games of this series, but that's nothing new. He has 9 multi-hit games this year, second only to Matt Kemp in the National League. His on-base percentage good for 10th. His batting average of .344, 5th best in the National League. And the little guy's just not poking singles here and there. He's backing up outfielders, hitting the ball over people's heads, and last night hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He's been a lot of fun to watch play. 4 steals. He hasn't been caught yet, and he's doing a very nice job at second base as well. He has been the complete package here in the first month of the season.
Sean Markham goes to the mound today for Milwaukee. For the Astros, it's lefty Jay Happ.
Quality work from Jay Happ so far this year. Same can be said for the right-hander Markham for the Brewers. 1-1 each with solid ERAs. Markham has pitched 17 consecutive scoreless innings against the Astros, so that's what they're up against this afternoon. A couple of fly ball pitchers, Happ the lefty and Markham the right-hander.
Coming up from Milwaukee, the Astros try to put everything together. They try to get a lead, get good pitching, and hang on to it to beat the Brewers in just a moment. Greg Lucas has more.
Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Well, you see why it is nice to have a roof. We in Houston know about it because it takes care of the heat. It also takes care of the rain, and there's baseball being played. Hopefully, the Astros won't need one in Cincinnati because they don't have one. So tonight, this afternoon, this final game of the series, we'll have Jay Happ against Sean Markham. Markham hasn't faced the Astros hitters much at all. Carlos Lee has a homer against him. The only guy really that Happ has to be most concerned with is the Corey Hart, the right fielder. He's only hits .462 against him, but we'll see how things go. This is a whole different day. Speaking of different days, let's take a look at the Astros' upcoming schedule, brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. After 3 games in Cincinnati following tomorrow's off day, the Astros are back home to take on the Mets, then a big weekend series with the Cardinals and Miami before they hit the road to Pittsburgh on the 11th. The Astros will be in town next weekend, as I indicated, taking on the defending World Series champion Cardinals. And Cinco de Mayo is, of course, on May 5th, and that's Saturday. The Astros will have all kinds of things going on. You don't want to miss them either. Listen to this. The Street Fest kicks off at 3 p.m. Then when the gates open, the first 10,000 fans receive a Los Astros cap, courtesy of Wells Fargo. And also, don't forget, Fireworks Friday. So get your tickets now at Astros.com or AstrosToHouston.com, and you can be part of the fun at Minute Maid Park. Jay Happ is getting ready. He has made his tosses. He's headed to the dugout. That means Bill Brown and Jim DeShays are ready to give you the lineups in the first pitch, and it's all coming up next right here on Fox Sports Houston.
And cold, the wind not much of a factor. The roof is closed. Everybody toasty inside and ready for baseball on the finale of this homestand for the Brewers and the finale of the first leg of the road trip for the Astros. They'll be in Cincinnati starting Friday night. The starting lineup for the Astros is brought to you by Hyundai. They begin with their center fielder, Jordan Schaefer. It's Jose Altuve back in the number 2 spot. He's at second base. J.D. Martinez is the left fielder. The cleanup man is first baseman Carlos Lee. Jed Lowry bats 5th today at shortstop. It's Brian Bogasevic in right field. Chris Johnson at third base. Chris Snyder the catcher. Jay Happ the pitcher.
A veteran right-hander Sean Markham pitches for the Brewers this afternoon. He's 1-1 with a .370 ERA. That is his line from his start against the Rockies on Friday. Allowed 8 hits and 3 runs in 6 innings. He has an outstanding changeup. That's probably his best pitch. Been very good against the Astros in 3 starts. He's 2-0 with a low ERA. Defensively, he's got the speedster Gomez in center, flanked by Hart and Braun. Ramirez, Gonzalez, Weeks, Ishikawa cover the infield, and LaCroix is behind the plate.
The Brewers have climbed back to 500. They've won 9 and lost 9. They're 2 games behind the first place St. Louis Cardinals, who are 11 and 7. The Astros are 6 and 12. They're 5 games out and searching for that formula, needing the big hit sometimes. Last night they came back. They were down 7-2, got right back in the game, wound up losing 9-6. So Brad Mills' club with very good offensive numbers. Still, you know, it's so early in the season, hard to make a lot of that, but they're getting people on base. They're 3rd in the league in runs scored, 3rd in on base average, and just looking to win a ball game and hopefully do some hitting early and get Markham down. Markham is 2-0 lifetime against Houston with a 1.80 ERA in 3 starts. Sean, 30 years old, from Kansas City. He went to Southwest Missouri State University. First pitch is strike 1. Joe West is the home plate umpire. Schaefer begins the day at .273 with 2 homers. He's driven in 7.
Markham's MO, throw strike 1 and then expand. Doesn't spend a lot of time in the strike zone.
Schaefer cranks that one foul. 0-2.
He's the kind of guy that hitters step in against feeling comfortable with. He's not a real hard thrower. He doesn't get great movement on his fastball, but his secondary pitches are really good. Good breaking stuff. He'll cut his fastball, and as I mentioned, his changeup is one of the best in the business. Fastball velocity 87, 88 miles an hour for the most part.
He was drafted by Toronto in the 3rd round in 03, traded to Milwaukee for Brett Laurie after the 2010 season. And last year he responded with a 13-7 record for the Brewers, working 200 innings. Misses there, and it's 1-2 to Schaefer. Schaefer in this series is 3 for 9. There's the way the Brewers look defensively, with Gomez shading a couple steps toward left center. And the pitch fouled away. Altuve and Martinez to follow. Well, the Astros have scored runs in this series. 6 runs on 10 hits last night. They stranded 10 runners. Monday night they lost 6-5. They had 13 hits and 5 runs and left 11 men on base. So they've been generating opportunities. Jammed on that one. He fouls it back over the screen, and it bounces off the railing and down to somebody in that lower bowl. Nice sized crowd today with a lot of school kids getting out for the game, and our producer Wade Robinson tells us it's traditional for these Wednesday afternoon games to include half price fares for students and for seniors, so they're well attended. In the dirt for a ball. Tom Haudricourt, the veteran sports writer from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, says he thinks the kids have to go back to school to check in before they are dismissed. So a lot of them enjoy these noon starts, and later on after school is out they'll push it back to a 1 o'clock start.
So they bring their ticket from the game to school and they get an excused absence. Is that the way it works?
Sounds like a plan. Yes, that's the way it works. They have to check in at some point. They can't just go from home to the ballpark and say they went to school. Although they did go to school, the School of Baseball. Showing up in good numbers. It's an educational experience out here, JD.
Well, they could do some math while they're here, figure out batting averages and the like.
That's true. Strikeout for Markham.
A little late there because of the changeup.
Yeah.
So you can tell Schaefer that entire at bat, especially once he got behind, very aware. Didn't want to get fooled by the changeup, but he fought off a couple of fastballs, but that time just late getting it started.
Markham works to one of the hot hitters in the majors, Jose Altuve. He leads all major league second basemen in batting average, and it's 5th best in the National League. 344 for Altuve. 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. He has 4 doubles and 2 triples. Showing bunt. Strike 1. Back in the number 2 spot in the order. And there you look at the leaders. Kemp, Posey, Wright for call, and Altuve. Jose is 6th in hits. He has 22 of those. Bangs out another one over shortstop into left center field. Ball is picked up by Ryan Braun, and Altuve is aboard. He had a .403 on base average before that hit.
He's hitting well over 400 when he puts the ball in play, and that's an incredibly high number. It'd be very difficult to sustain, but all indications are he's going to hit for a high average. He just does not swing and miss very much at all.
He's 5 for 9 in this series. 23 hits, and he's aboard for J.D. Martinez. Altuve's 4 for 4 in steals as well. Martinez is among the RBI leaders in the National League, tied for third with 15. He rocks one to right center field. That'll shoot the gap and go to the wall, and one hops the wall. Gomez gets it back in. He's got a strong arm. Altuve's being sent. Weeks with a double clutch on the throw, and he'll score. Well, Weeks must not have had possession of that ball. He did a double clutch on the throw, and Altuve waltzes home to make it 1-0 Houston. RBI double for Martinez, his 4th double, 16th run batted in.
J.D. Martinez last night saw a lot of pitches, had a lot of long, patient at-bats. Tonight, he picks on this first pitch fastball from Markham, puts a great swing on it. And if Weeks goes home with the throw, they would have had a shot at Altuve. And maybe it's just a lack of communication out there, because it looked to me like he first looked like maybe the ball should have gone to third base. And then, as an afterthought, threw the ball home.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like they did have a good shot at Altuve if he had just spun and thrown immediately. Carlos Lee, the former Brewer, comes up with a man on second and 1 out. Carlos has had a big series, going 5 for 10 with an RBI. Looks at ball 1 there. 270, 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. He's in the top 10 in runs batted in. He is 1 for 6 against Markham in his career with a homer. Markham pitched much better on the road last year than he did here at Miller Park. 2-0. He's 5-5 at Miller Park in his career with a 4.85 ERA. He pitched a couple of gems in Houston. 2 shutout starts at Minute Maid Park, and he went 7 innings in both of those.
Well, Ron Renick's just got to tweak his rotation so that Greinke pitches here all the time. He's undefeated in this park, and send Markham on the road.
True. Now 3 balls, no strikes, with Jed Lowry on deck. Markham on the road was 8-3 with a 2.21 ERA last season. Carlos takes it. It's ball 4. Now 3 straight have reached, and Jed Lowry follows.
Markham looking in, doing a double take, thought that pitch was in the strike zone. Joe West is the home plate umpire today. Cowboy Joe. He's been at this for a long, long while. And generally, Joe has pretty tight strike zone.
Jed Lowry. Yeah, he is hitter friendly. Jed Lowry, 273 with a homer, has 3 runs batted in. Jed is 4 for 9 with a homer in this series. He and Mike Barnett have made some adjustments to the position of his head as he bats left-handed. It's more upright now. Foul away, strike 1, and getting good results. They were looking at some video and discovered that he was sort of tilting his head sideways, kind of leaning forward, and it didn't give him the best vision of the pitch, and they've changed that by making him more upright, which is the way he hits from the right-handed side, and getting good results. Lowry's hitting .333 left-handed. He's 10 for 30. Hit a couple of home runs in the spring batting left. Inside, and it's a 1-1 count. Batting in that number 5 spot between Lee and Bogusevic. Brad Mills looking for a contact hitter in this part of the order now. This is the second time Lowry's been in this number 5 hole. He's one of 4 different Astro hitters to bat 5th this year. That one flares out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Batting average against Markham has only been .225 this season. And during spring training, he had a shoulder problem, missed most of the spring with right shoulder soreness, and yet has come out of the gate with 3 straight quality starts.
Played a lot of shortstop in college. There were some clubs that were on him, scouting him as a shortstop. Blue Jays took him as a pitcher, however.
He pops it by Lowry upstairs for a strikeout.
Very much like the Schaefer at bat. The changeup buys him a little extra time with that 86-mile-an-hour fastball.
Two outs on strikeouts for Markham. Now Brian Bogusevic, a 185 hitter with 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. Had a chat with Brad Mills after last night's game, and Brad was telling the media today that even though Bogey has been patient and he's 1 for 9 with 3 runs batted in this series, Brad would like him to be more aggressive.
Yeah, well, it's tough for a young hitter because the mantra around the Astros in spring training is patience, work the count, plate discipline. But Bogusevic, a big, strong guy, and Brad just feels like, when he gets deep into counts and has a couple strikes on him, he's feeling for the ball instead of just taking good, aggressive swings. Maybe a little too concerned with not striking out. Go ahead and let the bat fly.
1-1. Kevin and Steve Sparks talked about the numbers offensively for the Astros at this point of the season. They're really rather puzzling. And we asked Brad Mills about that before the game. I think one thing that's important to note is it's 18 games, so numbers can really be skewed in a very strange way with just over 1/10 of the schedule completed.
Yes, very difficult to identify any real trends this early in the year, other than the fact that if the Astros continue to be near the top of the league in runs scored and they hover around the middle of the pack in ERA, they're going to be fine. They're going to be a lot better than people expected.
Well, they're hitting .294 with runners in scoring position. That is fantastic. Little tapper goes foul. They are leaving more men on base than any other major league club, indicating that they are putting tons of traffic on the base paths. They're 3rd in the National League in on base average, and yet, as Brad Mills pointed out, when they need that one hit, when they're down by a run, they're not getting it. And
yeah, that's on a game-to-game basis, that's how you're going to react. But if you just treat the season like a long series, the innings are just a long string of events. And if you score a lot of runs, sooner or later you're going to win a lot of games if you pitch halfway decently.
Right. In tight to Bogey now. It's 3-2. Well, for instance, last night in the 7th inning, they were down 7-2. They loaded the bases with nobody out, and they scored 1 run on a ground out. Now, part of the problem is they have guys who haven't been able to score from second on a single or go first to third on a single, so they don't have a really fast team. They have some players who are fast, but that's a part of it. But everything gets magnified after 18 games. Up for ball 4. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, they're more aggressive and they wouldn't throw him a strike when push came to shove. I think the biggest problem, and again, I don't really identify it as a problem because they're 3rd in the league in runs scored. So to me, it's not a problem. But trying to rectify those numbers, the fact that they don't hit the ball at the ballpark, they haven't hit enough home runs. They hit a lot of singles.
Right.
So more doubles, more home runs would cash in even more of those opportunities.
Yes.
But I think that's something that fans and managers and people that follow the game, and everybody's not happy with their team. They don't drive in enough of those big runs.
Right. Chris Johnson hits one in the air, and on the right side of the field, it goes out to the right fielder, Corey Hart. And the Astros do get a run on 2 hits. They leave 3. Martinez plates that run with his 4th double of the year to make it Houston 1, Milwaukee coming up. Jay Happ. Ron Renicky has put together this starting lineup. It's brought to you by Hyundai. Ricky Weeks leads it off at second base. Carlos Gomez gets the call against the lefty in center field. It's Ryan Vaughn in left field. Aramis Ramirez at third. Corey Hart in right. Alex Gonzalez at short. Jonathan Lucroy the catcher. Travis Ishikawa at first. Sean Markham the pitcher.
Lefty Jay Happ for the Astros this afternoon. Last time out against the Dodgers, he was a losing pitcher. 3-1 ball game. Allowed 3 runs in 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 walks, 3 punch-outs.
Ricky Weeks set a Milwaukee club record for being hit by pitches. He got drilled for the 96th time as a Brewer last night. There's strike one. That was as he stepped up to begin the ball game in the bottom of the first. 188, 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. Happ misses outside. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Weeks is 1 for 8 in this series, a homer and 3 runs batted in. Bud Norris hit him with his first pitch last night. And Weeks later hit a 3-run homer on Bud's last pitch. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Jay's 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curve, slider, and change. Probably have some folks here in the stands. He's from Chicago, pitched collegiately at Northwestern.
It's only 90 miles south of here, JD, so there's a pretty good chance that he does have family and friends here. He gets a swing and a miss and strikes out Weeks, following the Sean Markham type pattern.
Nice start for Happ. Showed a breaking ball down and then climbs the ladder with a high fastball to punch out Weeks. Defensively, the outfielder's typically busy when Happ's on the mound. It's Schaefer, Martinez, Bogasevic. C.J. Lowry, Altuve, and Lee cover the infield. Chris Snyder back behind the dish. That's the Astros defense, and it's brought to you by Home Depot.
Carlos Gomez is a phenomenal center fielder. He's had 1 at bat in this series. Had a pinch home run last night off Brett Myers. Taking ball 1. 367 in the early going for Gomez with a homer. He's driven in 5. Formerly with the Twins. And he was traded to the Twins in the Johan Santana deal. He began his career with the Mets. 1-1 the count.
A guy with tremendous upside who hasn't really been able to realize it yet at the big league level.
He smacks a line drive. JD Martinez comes over. Gomez hustling around first, and he really runs hard. Good throw into second, holds him to a 1-out single. Gomez has 5 steals and 6 tries. Looking across at Ed Cedars' signs. Here's that swing.
Fastball up a little bit. Not away from him, but up where it's a little easier to get to, and he yanks it in the left for a 1-out single. He's a very aggressive base runner. Sometimes a reckless base runner.
Yeah. Ryan Braun is next. Braun had a big game last night. That's strike 1 to Braun. Well, the night before he did. Last night he was 0 for 5. Monday night he had 3 hits, including a homer, an RBI single, and a double. Braun's been chasing a lot of bad pitches. 266, 3 homers, 9 runs batted in. He's 3 for 14 against Happ in his career. Sends this one high and deep to left center field, and Braun is struck again. Up into the concourse for a 2-1 Brewer lead on his 4th long ball of the year and 2nd of this series.
How many home runs is that for the Brewers in this series? About 6?
They hit 4 last night. That is number 6.
Wow. That's what they do. They don't hit for a high average. At least they haven't so far this year, but they hit a lot of home runs. Again, a fastball up and away out of the zone. Braun able to get to it.
Brewers lead the league in long balls. That's their 25th. Aramis Ramirez takes a look at strike 1. At 185, he has a homer and 7 runs batted in. Ramirez swings at a low pitch and falls behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Ron Renicke's left fielder slugged one out of here. Brewers and Astros had scored exactly the same number of runs this season prior to this game, 82. They sure get there in different ways. Brewers have hit 25 homers to the Astros 11. The Astros were hitting .256 to the Brewers .235 batting average.
Yeah, the Brewers, they throw the deep ball, and the Astros, it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
That's it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Brewers have revved it up on this homestand, going 5-3. They'll be in St. Louis for their next series. And they go out west. They are 6-3 within the NL Central Division. Jay Happ last time out, giving up 8 hits, 3 runs in 6 innings, has had 3 starts, all in the quality start range. It's 3-2 now. Quite a different lineup for the Brewers, with Ramirez hitting 4th instead of Prince Fielder. Fouled away. And the Brewers really like Matt Gamble. They think he might be in the 80 to 85 RBI range for a season when all is said and done, if he stays healthy this year. And they feel that with Ramirez an established RBI guy and Gamble a better fielder at first than Prince Fielder, they'll be all right. There's a walk to Ramirez. Eight walks for Jay Happ. This is his 19th inning. And it'll be Corey Hart following.
That's the thing about this Brewer lineup. It's all this home run production not coming from just 1 or 2 guys. They have a very deep lineup of power hitters. Nishikawa is in the 8-hole again tonight. He had a home run last night. You don't think of him as a slugger, but he's got more power than the average 8-hole hitter.
Ball 1 to Hart. He checks in at 286 with 5 bombs, 12 driven in. 3rd in the league in total bases. Hart hit a homer last night, and he's 3 for 6 in this series with 3 runs batted in. Bernie the Brewer loves to take that slide, of course. 2-0. He's taken that slide 17 times on Brewers long balls here in this ballpark.
Probably goes through a few pair of pants every year going down that slide so many times.
He's nervously pacing right now.
Hart hit a bomb last night.
Yeah, he really did.
Jay trying to crowd him with that slider.
3-0 on Corey Hart. Missed most of the spring with torn meniscus in his right knee. Had surgery March 6th, and he made it back faster than some thought he would. Altuve playing up the middle. That's a 4-pitch walk, and now back-to-back walks will bring up Alex Gonzalez.
And I talked about Joe West strike zone, and the walks here I don't think are a function of that. Jay's just missing. But I think when you're faced with an umpire with a tight zone, you've got to find a way to get strikes early in the count so you can get the hitters into swing mode without giving in and just throwing fastballs right down the gut. So I think what Jay's going to have to do here, any pitch in this situation, you know, whether it's the slider or the bigger curveball, that if you can get that over 0-0, you know, most hitters like to come up and look fastballs early. So if you can get the breaking ball over, that's going to open up some things for you. Maybe get the hitters to be a little bit more aggressive.
Gonzalez with 3 homers, 11 runs batted in, has a .264 average. Alex had 3 hits and an RBI last night. Fouls that one away for strike 1.
The good news is Jay does have good life on the fastball this afternoon. That one clocked at 92. He's got a little deception, so that one clearly beat Gonzalez. He was late to the party there.
It's a 1-1 count.
Give that fan a contract.
There's a professional.
My hero. Well, not mine, hers.
Wearing a pirate cap.
It's a scout. It's a spy.
In the air, and it's out toward left center field. Schaefer there. Tucking it away for out number 2. Happ's first start as an Astro was here in Milwaukee July 30th of 2010. He went 6 innings of shutout ball and a 5-0 win. Jonathan Lucroy, 286, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Is 4 for 20 on this homestand. Lucroy, a 3rd round pick in 07, drove in 59 last year, started 114 games last season. He went 2 for 3 in the first game of the series. That's strike 1. Wandy Rodriguez has been moved up to pitch the Friday night game in Cincinnati for the Astros. And Kyle Weiland has some soreness in his shoulder, so he's going to be moved back to the back of the rotation now for his next turn. 1 ball, 1 strike. It'll be Wandy against Mike Leake Friday in Cincinnati. Airtime 5:30 for Astros Live. Saturday we'll have a 2:30 airtime. And Lucas Harrell will be moved up to pitch that game against Johnny Cueto. Sunday it'll be 11:30 for the pregame show. Bud Norris against Matt Latos. And then Kyle Weiland will be slotted into the back part of that rotation. He'll be pitching 5th after the Friday night series resumes play after the off day for the Astros. So that means he'll be up against the Mets at home. 2 balls and a strike. Ishikawa on deck. Half misses, and it's 3-1 for Jake.
Just obviously not what you're hoping to do. First inning of the ball game, come out and struggle, give up a couple, and work awfully hard. 29 pitches made by Jay already. It's got Doug Brocail a little anxious in the Astros dugout.
And he powers a fastball by him on 3-1. That's a pretty good sign. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and second will be on the move for Lucroy on the next pitch.
And it's decision time now for Snyder and Happ. You go back to that heater, say, man, we blew that one right by him. Let's take another shot. Or do you feel like you may make the adjustment and you try to come with something off speed?
He got him to chase and struck him out to end the first inning. The Brewers strike for 2 runs on 2 hits. They lead 2, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee after 1. And Sam Robinson, who's a senior at Muskego High School here. And he's a track athlete holding up that sign. And Uncle Wave is a producer who's from here. So we've had some signs planted in the crowd for us today, JD.
Yeah, hey, Sam, way to go, man.
Yeah, there's Astros gear on.
Muskego High Senior Skip Day.
Senior Skip Day.
That time of year.
So all seniors
Closing in
skipping.
Prom and graduation and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting time.
Yeah, it is. You've got a prom event coming up, don't you, JD?
No, I've got a graduation.
Graduation, that's right. Well, that's an exciting time, too. Chris Snyder at 080 with no homers and 2 runs batted in. Leads it off in the Astros second. Jay Happ on deck. Jordan Schaefer due up third.
Well, Brewers employing a shift much like the Astros have for Corey Hart in this series. Doesn't matter. There's one pitch and Snyder's aboard.
Hit on an off-speed pitch. Well, Snyder takes his base and Happ will come up. Here's a look at it.
Just kind of squirted that curveball, backed up on him. That's one that's fairly easy to take for the team.
Yeah. He probably won't need any of that spray to freeze it. Jay Happ does not have a sac bunt so far this year. Has a hit and an RBI. Ramirez is charging. He takes, and it's ball 1. Ricky Weeks went to cover first. Ishikawa coming in from first base.
Well, a couple things here. One, this is a good time for the Brewers to be very aggressive defending this bunt, because if he doesn't deaden it enough, they might have a shot at Chris at second base, and Jay Happ has to be aware of that too and make sure he busts it down the line to stay out of a double play if he doesn't get down a good bunt.
He bunts at first base side. Ishikawa will take a glance at second and tag him out. Well done by Happ, advancing Snyder on his first sacrifice.
Yep, can't do it much better than that.
Jordan Schaefer comes up. He struck out in the first inning. Well, Markham, as you've indicated, with the good off-speed stuff, pretty cagey, good knowledge of pitching. The Astros have dropped 8 of their last 10 games, trying to get rolling and then move into Cincinnati and have a nice weekend. Good weather or not, there's ball 1. The Reds are 8 and 9. The Astros will have 2 more trips into Milwaukee after this one.
Final road trip of the year is Milwaukee and then Chicago.
Now 2-0 for Schaefer. That one's in the air and near the left field line. Braun sprints over toward the line, gets under it, takes care of out number 2. Brewers, even though their starting rotation has a 4.82 ERA, that's next to last in the National League, have pitched well in this homestand. 3.06 has been their starters ERA on this 5-3 homestand. Jose Altuve singled and scored in the first. Jose scored 10 runs for the season now. We talk a lot about where guys hit in the lineup. Altuve's hit second. He's hit 8th. He's hit 6th. Strike. This is the 9th time he's hit second this season. It's a work in progress, as they say, JD,
yeah,
to try to figure out how these players best fit together into this lineup.
It almost doesn't matter. We've done a lot of studies about lineups and where the guys bat in the batting order, and it doesn't have that big of an impact. You just need a bunch of good hitters, preferably on base guys in front of sluggers.
That's another line drive hit into left center, and here's the go-ahead for Chris Snyder to come home and score the tying run. 2-2. Altuve does it again.
Another multi-hit game.
Wow. That's his 8th run batted in. He's like a machine.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you hit him, he's just going to hit. The interesting thing about him, and again, it's a small sample, but coming into this game, he had fallen behind in the count 0-2 13 times. He was hitting .385 in those at bats, and that's unheard of. Usually, when you look at those numbers, guys that once they're down in the count 0-2, they hit a $110, something like that. That time it was an 0-1 pitch.
Well, he's had 3 straight multi-hit games, 2 hits in each of these games in this series. J.D. Martinez sent him home with the RBI double to right center first time up. I'd say Mr. Altuve is going to be very tough to get out of this number 2 spot the way he's hitting right now. You know, with that kind of an on-base average that he brings to the table, and as a table setter for Martinez, Lee, and whoever's in the number 5 spot, that can serve this offense very well. Fouled away by J.D. There's strike 1 to Martinez. See some jackets in that crowd. Kind of a chilly day, mid-40s and rain outside. Remember back to the old County Stadium days, J.D.?
Gosh, yeah. Would have been a miserable day at County Stadium.
Miserable long day. Sitting around waiting for the rain to stop, if it ever did. Eating about 14 brats.
Yeah. Boy, I have a soft spot in my heart for those rickety old ballparks, but
yeah.
On a day like today, it sure is nice to be indoors.
Oh, it's so utilitarian here, and the game starts on time, proceeds without interruption. It's great. And, you know, we've already seen the new stadium in Miami as well, and that is going to be such an improvement for the home team and for all the traveling teams to go in there and not have to wait through those rain delays and be comfortable. One ball, one strike.
It's going to be interesting to see how well they draw there this year.
Very interesting. In the dirt, good stop.
Feet. Great stop.
Lucroy really got out there to his right on his knees quickly. That's extremely well done by Jonathan Lucroy. The Astros will be opening a 9-game homestand on Monday night with the Mets in for 3, Cardinals for 3, and Miami for 3. So a different flavor for that homestand. You've got the Mets from the NL East, the Cardinals from the NL Central, and Miami from the NL East. The Astros on their next road trip go to Pittsburgh and Philly, and then when they get back home, they'll entertain Milwaukee for 2. May 16th and 17th, then Texas, then the Cubs.
Well, here we go. J.D. Martinez yet again in another favorable count.
3-1 pitch coming. He hit the first pitch into the right center field alley back in the first inning. Now we'll see. He's walked 13 times. Carlos Lee on deck. And he takes ball 4. 2 men on. That's the 3rd walk for Markham, and it's Carlos Lee.
It's at least the 2nd time Markham's done a good long double take looking in at Joe West as he thought that cut fastball caught the outside corner. But you might as well go to plan B because it's not going to change. I mean, you can complain about Joe's strike zone all you want, but he is very consistent.
12 batters, 7 have reached base. And it's Carlos Lee, who walked on 4 pitches in the first inning. That's ball 1. Carlos has a .276 career average against Milwaukee. The Astros are 2nd in the league in drawing bases on balls this year. Altuve had the RBI single. Martinez walked. Big cut there.
Oop.
Looks back at Joe West.
Follow through cut, Joe.
Yeah, Joe's all right. 1-1. Oh
my, that was close to being real ugly.
Yes, it was.
Big long follow through. Thankfully, Joe's okay. Still able to make the call. He's like, get in there and hit. Don't worry about me.
Wow. Umpires are tough, aren't they? It's a shot on the ground into left field. Altuve's being sent to the plate. Braun fails to pick it up cleanly, and the Astros lead it 3-2. Martinez into third on the RBI single by Lee. His 13th run batted in. Braun wanted to make a play at the plate on Altuve, but he failed to make the pickup.
A nice swing of the bat here by Carlos, and Braun coming hard. Good aggressive send by Dave Clark. Altuve scores his second run of the game. The error allows J.D. Martinez to go to third base.
Second error for Braun. Altuve hustles home with his second run scored of the day. And Jed Lowry has runners at first and third now. He struck out in the first inning. Jed takes a look at ball one. Lowry 2 for 8 a lifetime against Markham from their American League days in the AL East, with Toronto for Markham and Boston for Lowry.
Settle in, folks. We're going to be here a while. It's baseball and burgers at Miller Park.
Lowry fouls it back. 1-1. In fact, it's one of those days, JD, we might advise somebody to make a big old pot of chili. Plenty of time to do that. Probably too warm for that back home, right?
Well, turn up the air conditioning. That might be a little overkill.
That might.
And he may be in the wrong place.
He could be. He's come to the wrong place. But he'll find
said we were going to the game. I didn't realize it wasn't a Packer game.
This one gets by Lucroy, and Martinez scampers home with Lee going to second on a wild pitch to make it 4-2 Houston. That one just got completely away from Markham.
And LaCroix late reacting that time, whereas before he showed the very quick feet. Here he has to reach across the plate and can't snag that one.
2-run lead for the Astros. Runner at second now with a count of 2-1 on Lowry. Jed looks at it. It's a strike. 2-2. When you're working with the umpire having a tight strike zone, are you thinking more about getting the hitters to swing the bat because that zone is not all that big, or how do you adapt to it?
Well, yeah, I don't. You're not going to ring guys up very often on borderline calls. So and a lot depends on the style of pitcher. If you've got a power pitcher who can overpower hitters in the strike zone, it's not that big of an issue. But Markham is more of a finesse guy. As a matter of fact, he throws a few strikes to just about anybody in the league.
Well, he gets strikeout number 3, but the Astros grab the lead, coming up with 3 runs on 2 hits with an error and a man left. And Altuve's banging away again with 2 hits already. It's 4-2 Houston. It's 4-2. The Astros lead the Brewers after 1.5. Brewer fans watching their club come up in the bottom of the second inning. And it's Travis Ishikawa leading it off. He hit a 2-run homer last night. There's strike one. Also struck out 3 times. 188, 1 homer, 4 runs batted in for Ishikawa. Matt Gamble on the bench again today. He had a shoulder that was bothering him from the home plate collision with Jason Castro from Monday night. Should be okay to go in their next series from what we're hearing. And Jason gets another day off. We'll have a scheduled day off tomorrow. The Astros athletic trainers felt that it would be better not to play Jason Castro today, although he could play. He's available. But on the precautionary side, after taking that tremendous blow from Gamble at the plate Monday night, he's sitting out again today. In the dirt, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Ishikawa with Markham and Weeks to follow in Jay Happ's second inning. Oh, this is an early day game. 12:10 start. Players have to get up and get their motors running on a day like this.
Yeah, most players don't like day games. Just play so many night games, the day game throws you off schedule a little bit, and then when you push it up an hour earlier than even most day games, it's even more out of sorts. The Pirates playing a day game with the Rockies today, and James McDonald has a no-hitter going through 5 innings. So clearly the Rocky bats have not awakened.
James awakened pretty well. Still 2-2. Did you see?
Yeah,
Gene
pitcher
Coleman?
can always get up for the game.
Yeah, you're right. He's got 4 days in between starts, so it's one of those special days for him. If you're one of the everyday players who's been playing every game, then the idea of getting up early in the morning when you're more of a night person, not quite as appealing. Did you see the sleep study that Gene Coleman has been emailing?
No.
So the players have a chance to take advantage of research that's been done on sleep and try to adjust to the amount of sleep they get and how their bodies function based on studies.
Babe Ruth could have used that.
High drive right center field. Ishikawa powers one up on the concourse. Well, Matt Gamble might sit out another game. Ishikawa has hit 2 homers in 2 games.
Matt Gamble might get Wally pipped. The way Ishikawa's going.
4-3 ball game as the Brewers bang out their second long ball of the day already.
Ishikawa's best home run season in the major leagues was with the 2009 Giants. He had 9 home runs that year in 326 at bats. There was no doubt about this one. As soon as he hit it, you knew it was leaving the yard. Not that you're going to be overly cautious with a pitcher in the batter's box, but Markham is a good hitting pitcher. Matter of fact, he had a grand slam last year.
That's notable. There's strike one. You talked about his days as a shortstop. 133 lifetime average. But he hit that slam off Daniel Hudson of Arizona last year. That was only the second grand slam in Brewers history by a pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. The other was by somebody named Fred Talbot, 1969. Foul back, 1-2. Well, the good news, JD, is that just one sleepless night is not necessarily associated with any negative effects on performance. So it's only one night, you can overcome it.
How do you define a sleepless night?
Not sure.
It's one of those nights where you're tossing and turning, and
probably.
We're not talking about pulling an all-nighter.
No, but if you get short rest, you know, for instance, if you go an entire week and sleep 1 hour less every day that week, you're in deep debt for sleep. As little as 20 total hours of sleep deprivation can have a negative impact on performance. Ricky Weeks, the batter, he struck out in the first inning.
That's why I take my daily nap.
Is that, well, and that's recommended. Now, if you have 20 consecutive days with 1 hour less sleep, you've got 20 hours of sleep deprivation going.
And you can't put it in the bank, right? You're
no,
done.
you can't bank it.
Can't get it back. It's gone.
Yeah, you can't sleep for 24 hours. Say, I'm fine. Doesn't work that way. 1 ball, 1 strike. You think guys who are 25 years old read these sleep deprivation studies?
I'm going to guess no.
2-1. Strike there makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Second inning already here in Milwaukee.
You're kidding already? Wow, that is fast.
Going back outside with the fastball. Good pitch.
Struck him out looking. That's number 4, Ricky Weeks, looking back at Joe West.
Perfect pitch. Outside corner at the knees.
We go to Greg Lucas.
Don't forget, after wearing the Colt 45's jersey on Flashback Fridays in April, the Astros will wear the 1960s Shooting Star uniforms on Fridays in May, beginning May 4th against the Cardinals. Astros legend Rusty Staub will toss the ceremonial first pitch on Friday night, and fireworks will be set to 60s music. Tickets at Astros.com.
Friday's going to be a very colorful day. We were talking about that last night. The Astros in Action Foundation's Pink in the Park Brunch and Bazaar will be that day. Toward the left field corner, and J.D. Martinez ranges over for the grab, and then Le Grand Orange is at the ball game that night. Ishikawa's homer makes it a 1-run lead for Houston, 4-3.
Four to 3. It is the top of the third, and it's time for our AT&T trivia question. The question of the day is very simple. The question's simple. Let's see if the answer is: who was the Milwaukee Brewers' first All-Star?
Oh boy, they're going way back. The Seattle Pilots moved here to Milwaukee. What year was it, Greg?
1970.
70 here, yeah.
Okay, 1970.
Maybe it was Fred Talbot.
It could have been Fred Talbot.
But it wasn't.
He was a Seattle Pilot.
Brian Bogusevic leads it off in the third. 4-3 Astros.
Was that, and now back in the day in 1970, was there every team must be represented rule?
I think they always have had
Yes.
that rule, yeah.
So it was 1970.
He was worthy, though.
I'm thinking Don Money.
Don Money.
That's not on the money.
Really?
I'm informed that if you wanted to get technical, he was the first elected as a starter. Money was, but
All
that's
right.
not the first All-Star.
Jim Colburn.
Eliminate pitchers.
Ground ball to third. Ramos Ramirez takes care of out number one. Eliminate pitchers.
One of his attributes was speed.
Tommy Harper.
Hey,
Got it.
nice.
Tommy, of course, came up originally with the Reds and then didn't have a place to play, but had some good years here and also with Boston later.
Chris Johnson, the batter. He flied to right earlier. CJ came off the bench last night, banged out 2 hits in the 7th and 8th innings. Marwin Gonzalez started at third last night. Chris takes a look at that one, and it's ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy Harper, he made the 30-30 club one year, didn't he, Greg?
Yes, he did. I interviewed him once when he was still in the minor leagues in the Red system in Indianapolis. The manager was Don Zimmer, and that had to be in the 60s.
Ooh. Ramos Ramirez takes care of another one. 2 outs for Sean Markham.
All right, here's the official AT&T Trivia review and answer. The Milwaukee Brewers' first All-Star, and it was Tommy Harper in 1970.
Well, we've told that story many times when we come up here to Milwaukee, but the Seattle Pilots were in financial trouble, and they were training in Arizona, I believe, at the time. And the story was that the equipment truck was headed for Seattle, got a phone call when they were about Salt Lake City, and they were told, turn back east, you're going to Milwaukee. That's where the team is moving to. Chris Snyder fouls it, strike 1. That's when Bud Selig and his group bought the team.
And the Braves left here, in 66?
That sounds right. Went to Atlanta after coming from Boston. No balls, 2 strikes for Chris. He was hit by a pitch leading off the 2nd inning, then came around to score on the Altuve single. Now trying to get the pitcher Happ to the plate here. Behind 0-2 on Markham, but the infield shifted around. Markham gets a strikeout. He has his first 1-2-3 inning, and it's 4-3 Houston in the 3rd.
As we go to the bottom of the 3rd, Chevy is proud to present a new show, and it's called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. There's some hometown kids here all sport fans as the action resumes with Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
A lot of kids in the crowd here today. Good to see families out. Thanks, Greg. Brian Anderson, the fine TV voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, has texted us about Ryan Braun being the first Milwaukee player to go 30-30 since 1970 when Tommy Harper did it. Last year, Braun, who hit the 2-run homer in the first inning of the day, had 33 homers and 33 steals. There's ball one. Rare day off for BA, Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder.
Watching baseball? Come on.
Well, that's because it's raining.
No. Probably get a tee time a little bit later on.
Line drive, Bogusevic over to field it on a hop. Braun takes the turn, and he's in with hit number 2 of the night.
I'm guessing Robin Yount must have come close to that 30-30.
Yeah, we'll look it up, but he must have.
Well, Braun showing you pretty good approach here. Hits the home run on a fastball up and away. Now fastball down and away. Tougher pitch. If he tries to lift that one, probably doesn't do much with it. So he just drives it the other way. That's how you hit for a high average and hit a lot of home runs.
Braun has a good sized lead. Draws a throw from Jay Happ. He's 3 out of 4 in steals. Ramos Ramirez drew a walk on a 3-2 count in the first inning.
Brewers second in the league in stolen bases. They've been successful on their last 8 tries.
Foul back. There's strike 1 to Ramirez with Corey Hart on deck. James McDonald of Pittsburgh has a no-hitter through 6 against Colorado. Troy Tulowitzki's batting, leading off the 7th inning. Not leading off. Carlos Gonzalez just walked. Rolled over on it and grounded it foul third base side. No balls, 2 strikes to Aramis Ramirez.
Looking at Robin Yount's numbers, he never had a 30 home run season. He had 29 home runs in his best year. He never stole 30 bases in a season either, but a lot of, high teens, 20 steals, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Enough to get him there in the Hall of Fame, and the number retired. And he presented Braun his MVP award a few nights ago. Braun takes off. It's foul back. Braun slid into second base. No balls, 2 strikes on Ramirez. The Brewers go to St. Louis for 3, San Diego for 3, and San Francisco for 3 on a 9-game road trip. Ron Renicke's club will be a traveling club indeed. They're 6-5 at home so far this year. Had a great home record last season. They were 57-24 here last year. Way up, 1-2.
So we talked earlier about the pace of the game and how, for the manager, I don't know if the game ever really feels slow. They're making constant decisions. It's fun to watch sometimes. You'll see as soon as one pitch is made, if you get a shot of the manager in the dugout, there he goes with the signs. You always have to make decisions on what you're going to do both on the pitching side and on the hitting side. Whether to throw over, pitch out, how you're going to deploy your fielders. Count changes. You want guys to shift. You would hope that they would be smart enough to do that, but sometimes you got to get Dave Clark up there in the railing and say, hey, step to pull or step in or step the other way. And likewise for Renicky here, his thinking always changing with every pitch as the count changes.
This one kicks away, but not very far from Snyder. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ramirez. Troy Tulowitzki broke up that James McDonald no-hit bid in the top of the 7th inning at Pittsburgh. It's 0-0.
So whoever had Tulowitzki in the no-hit pool is a winner. Congratulations.
They have a delayed start with St. Louis in Chicago. Not far from here. It's raining there as well.
What, no roof on Wrigley Field?
That ball at the left center. This is headed for the gap. And that will one-hop the wall for Schaefer. Here's Braun coming to third. Stop sign there. He rounds the bag. And the throw comes into Carlos Lee from Jed Lowry. A double for Ramirez, second and third, nobody out.
Jay got the jump on him, no balls, 2 strikes, and then Ramirez showed some patience, worked his way back into the count. His bat's starting to show signs of life. Notoriously slow starter, but he got a channeled fastball right there. Got extended through it, looking hard, hoping that it would fly out of here. And watch Ed Cedar, the third base coach, come down the line, giving him more time to read the play before ultimately throwing the stop sign up for Ryan Braun. Third base coaches love it when a base runner gives them that effort, comes hard and comes through the bag.
Now it's Corey Hart. Carlos Lee far off the first base line. The infield overshifted around, playing him to pull, and he hits it foul for strike 1. Hart walked on 4 pitches in the first inning. If the contact play is on, CJ is in close enough, of course, to make a play. And Carlos Lee. Now, Carlos is being repositioned a little bit, a step more toward first base. Other infielders back.
Yeah, you just have to recognize Hart's ability to bunt. He's a pretty good bunter, so you know if you play back there, if you have Carlos back, he could just push a bunt towards first base and get 1 in and 1 more over to third base, possibly even get himself a knock. I don't think the Brewers would be going on contact here with nobody out in the inning, but you never know.
1-2. That's the beauty of it.
Hart's a pretty good breaking ball hitter.
Braun takes his lead with nobody out. 4 hits for the Astros, 5 for the Brewers. The Brewers have the only error in the game.
Didn't hit that breaking ball.
No, he did not.
Huge strikeout.
Yeah, it is. 2-minute scoring position for out number 1. 5 strikeouts for Happ.
Uncle Charlie getting it done.
Alex Gonzalez, who hit a fly ball to center, is the batter. Yeah, this is such a big situation with a 1-run lead. The potential for 1 hit to send the home team in front.
In a game that feels like it's going to take 10 runs to win it, it's hard to put too much emphasis on one single at bat, but you just never know. You never know in a baseball game which run is going to be the one that ultimately beats you.
True.
We've seen games like this that early on looks like it's going to be a high-scoring affair, and then either, the starting pitchers either figure it out or the bullpen comes in and just pitches shutdown baseball.
Joe Patini talking with Brad Mills with a count 0-1.
It's still only the 3rd inning, and that's why Mills has his infield back here. If it's a 7th inning on, probably have the infield in here, but it's only the 3rd inning, and a base hit likely scores 2.
Fouled away.
Just keep the infield back, trade an out for a run here, hopefully minimize the damage in this inning, and then start fresh in a tie game in the 4th. That's the strategy behind the deployment of the infield. Obviously, you're hoping Happ can maybe punch Gonzalez out as well, and he's got him in a down count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzalez is a free swinger, so expect a breaking ball down here like he did with the Hart, or way up with the heater.
This one kicks away from Snyder, and the tying run scores. 4-4 game on a wild pitch by Happ. Ramirez to third.
Of the 2 choices, I think I would have favored the high fastball there, because you're obviously less likely to have that happen with the high heater. And that is a strikeout pitch for Happ. Tough pitch to handle. Hard breaking ball in the dirt, and kicks back the other way, jumps up and gets Chris on the shoulder. Oh, actually on the face mask.
Yeah.
That's very difficult to do anything about that. It looked like the technique was sound.
Now it's a tie game with a 2-2 count, 1 out on Gonzalez, runner at third. And the infielders come running in. Ball's grounded foul.
Now the base hit obviously only scores 1 run. So pulling the infield in is more justified here.
Well, they came running in as the pitch was being delivered last time. Now they're going to stay in. And he swings and foul tips it for a strikeout. That's number 6 for Happ. Happ threw 115 pitches in 6 innings in his last start, running a high count today again. Gonzalez irate at the strikeout.
Don't swing.
Jonathan Lucroy struck out with 2 men on in the first inning. It is one of those days when high pitch counts are to be expected normally with the type of strike zone these pitchers have. 1 ball, no strikes. The fact that Jay has struck out 6, it takes a lot of pitches usually to get that many strikeouts. Markham's fan 4 through 3. Altuve gets in front of it, sets up, and makes a fine play for the 3rd out. It's 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left for the Brewers, and it's tied 4-4 after 3. Game, and the Astros got the RBI double in the first inning from J.D. Martinez to make it 1-0. Jose Altuve had singled. He came home to score. Ryan Braun powered a 2-run homer in the first. Number 4 of the year for him. Altuve with his 2nd hit of the game. That drove in a run as the Astros came back. And Carlos Lee with his RBI single to left field. Then a wild pitch scored Martinez. The Astros led it 4-2. But then Ishikawa with a home run brought the Brewers back. They score on a wild pitch to tie it 4-4. And that's where we are, moving now to inning number 4. Strike 1 to Jay Happ. He put down a sac bunt in the 2nd inning. That led to a run when Altuve singled in Snyder with 2 outs.
Well, neither of these pitchers obviously can be all that happy with the way things have progressed so far this afternoon. But the bottom line is you're in a tie game, so you've got a fresh start. And if somebody can take command for 3 innings, they've got a chance to be a winning pitcher.
2 balls and a strike. It's not a real good idea to trail the Brewers after 7 innings. They've won 50 games in a row when they've led through 7 innings. Last time they lost one of those games was July 4th last year. That's ripped to right field. Put in the glove of Corey Hart. Sounded good off the bat of Jay Happ.
Well, good swing. He hit a home run last year.
Let's go to Greg Lucas for more.
We're going to take a look at this date in Astros history, brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. J.R. Richard on this date in 1980 won his 100th career game, beating the Mets 7-4. Art Howe contributes 3 hits. Jeff Leonard homers in that victory. Unfortunately, J.R. would not have a whole lot more than 100 because it wasn't long after that he had the stroke.
Big year, 1980. Jordan Schaefer is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly ball to left. Moves back for ball 1 from Markham. Now this Brewer bullpen, as far as the 8th and 9th inning guys, Francisco Rodriguez and the closer John Axford, very tough to beat from behind.
They've both pitched in each of the first 2 games of this series. I'm not so sure how busy they were coming into this series, so that may affect their availability for today, and if not their availability, hopefully their effectiveness.
Big cut for Schaefer makes it 1-2 for Jordan. The Rockies got a run on a sacrifice fly by Jason Giambi, and they lead 1-0 at Pittsburgh now after James McDonald had 6 no-hit innings. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Markham brings it in for strike 3. A strikeout number 5.
Markham been working that outside corner a lot, but not getting many calls out there. So this time he goes with a 2-seam fastball running back to the inside corner. And that time he does get the call.
Looking right over the shoulder of Joe West, who rings it up. Jose Altuve with a 2 for 2 day, an RBI, 2 runs scored. Looks at that one for strike 1. Pittsburgh came right back to tie it with Colorado, 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning, still batting. Pedro Alvarez hit his 3rd homer off Juan Nicasio. Liner left again. Altuve's 3 for 3 in this game. He is amazing.
We call him amazing. Opposing pitchers will call him annoying, among other things.
Three-hit game for Altuve, and it's only the 4th inning.
You know, there's going to be a lot of conversations going on around the league of other pitchers. How do you pitch that little dude? Well, how do you get him out? I don't know, man. I haven't seen any holes yet.
J.D. Martinez has the RBI double and a walk. 5 hits for each club now. Altuve's had a big time series here. That's a total of 7 hits in the 3 games. That's his first 3-hit game this season. He had a bunch last year. Check swing roller goes foul. Boy, it almost looked like it was going to come back fair for Ishikawa, and it's strike 1.
Good job by Ishikawa backing off and letting that ball roll a little bit. If he was a curler, he could have gotten his broom out. Sweep that thing.
Yeah. Altuve had 7 3-hit games last year with the Astros in his 2 months with Houston. Drawing a throw here. He has been a pest for Markham. Batting second, he's at .393, including today's game. 13 for 33. Batting eighth, .345. It doesn't matter. He hits well in both of those spots. JD expanded his zone, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Doesn't do that very often.
And they're getting ready to play at Wrigley Field, St. Louis and Chicago. Lance Lynn for the Cardinals against Chris Volstad. Good play there by Lucroy. That makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cubs have the identical record that the Astros have, 6-12. But they've had a couple of 3-2 wins in that series. Brad Mills' club trying to get this one and head on out of town for Cincinnati for the off day tomorrow. Some of the members of the Astros traveling party are headed for Louisville tomorrow for a tour of the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory. You ever had that tour, JD?
I have not.
It's a good one.
Do they serve ice cream at the end? The tours I like are when they give you ice cream at the end.
We could probably do that.
Bluebell or Ben and Jerry.
Yeah. Not sure if they do that or not.
Looks like we're thrown over. Doing something. Nope.
Up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Martinez.
Oh, show me up and in fastball, likely with the idea of going away again soft with a breaking ball, but sometimes as a pitcher you got to be willing to double up in there. JD hits the ball well the other way, as he exhibited with his first at bat, hitting that double to right center. That'll get your attention. You'll remember that out there on the bump.
He rocks this one to right field. That's a hit in front of Hart. Nice line drive single the other way for JD. And he, like Altuve, has been on all 3 times today. Carlos Lee comes up with 2 men on and 2 outs.
Matter of fact, Carlos hasn't made it out yet. So the 2, 3, 4 hitters in the Astros lineup tonight, this afternoon. Well, it might be tonight.
Yeah.
No, not quite yet tonight, but this afternoon have failed to make an out.
Carlos with that 2-out RBI knock in the second gave the Astros their 4th run.
Maybe trying to throw a little front door slider. Stayed on the plate. Good swing by Martinez.
At 6 hits for Houston now. 5 singles and a Martinez double.
Well on their way to their 4th consecutive double-digit hit game.
That's ball 1.
The Astros are establishing a pretty good trend in recent getaway days. It was getaway day in Washington when they scored 11. Getaway day from the flyby into Houston. They scored 12 against the Dodgers Sunday. Now the bats added again here this afternoon.
Yeah, that road trip to Houston for 3.
Yeah.
Well, this is the 4th series in 4 different cities. And number 5 will be coming up. Then the Astros will have a 3-series homestand. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Colorado and Pittsburgh are playing the day end of a day-night doubleheader, or a doubleheader rather. Altuve 3 for 3, Martinez 2 for 2, Lee 1 for 1. We have some walks in there as well.
8 trips, 8 reaches.
And you know, this year the players' agreement is different, and they can call up an extra player for double headers. So that was negotiated with the Players Association, and I believe both the Rockies and the Pirates have called up 26th men for the doubleheader today. 3 balls, no strikes. Probably would be a pitcher in most cases. Wouldn't you think, JD?
Yes. Because that's the biggest fear. You get into a doubleheader, and if you're using your bullpen a lot, and then you use a number of guys in the first game, you can get caught short.
Now, the Astros have a scheduled doubleheader in Colorado in late May. It's the first scheduled doubleheader there's been for a long time in the big leagues. Ball 4 loads the sacks.
9 reaches in 9 trips.
And Jed Lowry comes up.
And Jed's punched out twice. So he's probably feeling the pressure right here. All these guys are getting on in front of me. I got to come through.
Well, because Brad Mills wants a contact hitter in this number 5 spot. So a chance for him to come through right here with Altuve at 3rd, Martinez at 2nd, and Lee at 1st. In tight, ball 1. Markham now is at 78 pitches for the day.
It's going to be interesting because I sense a little implosion coming from Markham here pretty soon. If things don't break his way, he and Joe West may get into it.
Lowry, yeah, he went.
That's a tough pitch, though. He's got that nasty changeup. Comes out of his hand, looks like his fastball. He's got great arm speed with the changeup. You're sitting there, you punched out twice, the bases are loaded, you're 1-0, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to take this fastball and yank it into the corner. And he crossed them up with a good changeup.
Lowry takes high. It's 2 balls and a strike to Jed. Altuve singled with 2 outs. He's advanced to third. Martinez singled. He's at second. Lee walked, and he's at first. The Astros as a team are hitting 174 with the bases loaded this year. Jed takes a strike.
Pretty much the same exact pitch.
2-2 to Lowry.
I talked earlier about Joe West behind the plate and his consistency. Normally he is. He's usually very, very consistent. But I'm not saying that was a ball, but the previous one was called a ball in that same spot.
Brian Bogusevic is on deck.
Fox Tracks had them both on the corner at the top of the zone.
Lowry pulls one foul.
As a matter of fact, if we can put that back up again, that Fox Tracks box, you'll see that the previous pitch was just a little further out. So Joe West is that good. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a shadow or something.
Wow.
Two to Lowry. Markham trying to hang in this game. He's due up second in the bottom of the 4th. Lowry hits one to center. Gomez is back for it for the 3rd out. No runs, 2 hits, 3 men left. Middle of the 4th inning. It's tied 4-4.
Sports Houston is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, Jack in the Box, you can buy the new Chipotle Chicken Club. Make it a combo with fries and a drink. And buy the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. To the booth we go. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
On a gray, rainy day. It's 4-4, bottom of the 4th inning. Travis Ishikawa, though, is finding this day very sunny for him. He hit a homer in the 2nd inning. He takes ball 1 here.
His kind of day. He was born in Seattle. This is right in his wheelhouse.
That's right.
Cup of Starbucks and a big swing of the bat.
It's 2-0 with Sean Markham on deck. Jay Happ with the 4-4 ball game has allowed 5 hits, 2 homers by the Brewers. Foul back, and it's 2-1 to Travis Ishikawa. Well, Jonathan Singleton hit 2 homers last night for Corpus Christi. They beat Midland 8-2. Jose Cisnero fanned 12.
12?
And he went 5 innings.
Wow.
Singleton went 4 for 4 and drove in 4. Fly ball left field line. J.D. Martinez tracks it over toward the line, but it's fouling up into the seats. 2-2. Now Corpus is now 10-8. Oklahoma City in first place, 13-7 in the PCL. Jordan Lyles improved to 4-0 with a win last night. He went 7 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs. Brett Wallace went 2 for 4 and drove in a couple.
Jordan in 26 innings has struck out 24 batters, walked only 4.
George Springer went 4 for 4 for Lancaster, and he drove in 3.
Yeah, and the day before he was 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. That's a nice bounce back game for Springer.
It is. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Jay Happ. And he gets Ishikawa for strikeout number 7. And him leaning on the breaking ball. Sean Markham will be next. Let's take a look at some of these guys. Lyles 4-0 with a 3.46 ERA, AAA. Jared Cosart spent some downtime. He had a blister problem. He's 1-0 in 2 starts at Corpus with an ERA of 0. Singleton 327, 12 runs batted in. Springer 257. Telvin Nash is the home run man. 8 home runs already for Lancaster.
Doesn't that lead all minor league baseball?
It does. At least it did as of yesterday.
Brandon Barnes is hitting 394 down at AA.
Well, the Astros are trying to use the DH in as many of those minor league clubs as they can to get ready for the move to the American League next year. 1 ball and 1 strike. Markham bending over. It looked like he might have hurt his back on that swing. Yeah, he's wincing a little bit, JD.
Took a big hack, didn't he?
He did take a big hack. Maybe too big.
He's throwing a lot of pitches.
Happ comes in with a strike. 1-2.
So Jay has recorded 10 outs in this game, 7 via strikeout. And yet, so that speaks of, you think, oh, it's a dominant performance. He's given up 4 runs.
Interesting.
A couple of home runs, a couple of walks.
Well, we talked about Bud Norris last night, and he had 4 really good innings of shutout ball. Gave up 2 hits, struck out 5. Then 2 runs in the 5th and 5 runs in the 6th. He wound up with a pitching line of 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs allowed. Check swing roller.
Mentioned last inning that there was an opportunity for both these pitchers to seize control of this game. Markham able to post zeros in the 3rd and 4th, laboring to do so, but now looking to have an easy inning. 8-9-1. He punched out 8. Now he feels like he should be able to get through this inning unscathed.
Tap foul.
No one is ever scathed.
No,
you can
never.
be unscathed, but you're never scathed.
Never scathed. Sometimes, if you're shaving with a straight edge razor, JD, you get a little too close to that razor, you could be scathed.
I would love to hear a guy after a game go, I got scathed there in the 3rd, but
it's 2-2.
I was scathed in the 3rd and the 5th, but I was unscathed the rest of the way.
Happy 12th birthday to Zach Ham today. Markham fouls it.
How's Zach celebrating today?
He's got a full day of activities, but he got an iPhone for one thing.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. So all of his friends are texting him now.
Oh, we got to get a win for Zach.
Absolutely. What did we used to get when we were 12? A bike or something like that?
Bike was a big one.
Yeah.
Baseball glove.
Oh, yeah. That's in the air to center field. Schaefer moving in a little bit. 2 down.
You probably got an Xbox on your birthday, huh, Brownie?
Oh, you know it, pal. One of those things you long for. What are they anyway? Ricky Weeks has struck out both times. Colorado and Pittsburgh are tied 1-1. They're in the top of the 8th now at Pittsburgh. First of a doubleheader. That's a long day. Bounced up the middle and into center field by Weeks.
He was hoping to go unscathed. There was a chance they could scathe him.
They've had hits in every inning. Yeah, one hopper right by him.
We've seen a lot of fastballs out away from him. He's quick inside. Pitchers try to stay away, but if you just live out there exclusively, he's going to hurt you out there unless you really keep it down. That's the thing. That's why we talk so much about changing speeds, working both sides of the plate. I mean, if you just paint down and away, you can have a lot of success, but not everybody can hit that spot consistently. So it just buys you, it allows you to make some mistakes. If you've got the hitter aware of both sides of the plate and you've got him aware of hard and soft, you'll get away with more mistakes.
Ball to Carlos Gomez. Gomez is 1 for 2. Like Zach Greinke, when he needed to make that pitch low and away Monday night, he made it. He was in all kinds of trouble, but that pitch got him out of trouble. We thought he was going to be scathed, but he was unscathed in a lot of those innings. It's 1-1. Well, the Brewers won this division by 6 games last year over St. Louis. Kind of early to get a feel for this divisional race yet, but they'll be meeting in the next series. So people will be making something of that.
Yeah, and this is our first look at anybody within the division, but we'll catch up with the Reds this weekend. We've got the Cardinals coming in on the homestand.
Yeah.
And those are the clubs that most people think are capable of winning the division, the 3 that are currently on top. You never know how it's going to play out.
Well, they've been jumping around at Wrigley Field. Soriano got the game-winning hit yesterday. Ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. White Sox in Oakland have a late afternoon start. Chris Sale going to the mound for the White Sox. They're 10-7 for Robin Ventura. Foul back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Kansas City's at Cleveland tonight. Oh, the Royals. They're 3-14. They've lost 12 in a row. They're 7 games out in the AL Central. And they're 0-10 at home. What a tough start.
Yeah, you don't get any do-overs.
They lost 4-3 last night. Foul back.
I think there's a little bit of a dust-up in that ball game, too. I was looking at the news earlier, and I couldn't tell exactly what was going on, but there was some kind of a bench-clearing incident. That's what happens when you lose 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Frustration, a little tension.
It definitely can build. There's some outstanding young players on that big league club. We'll be seeing them later this year in interleague play. Weeks will go again, but not until after this throw to first.
Yeah, well, he's obviously going with the pitch, but he can't afford to get picked off. But you show him that pickoff move in case he has a brain cramp and goes on first move, which would be silly. But you're just trying to tighten him up a little bit in case Gomez hits one in the corner. You might be able to stop him from scoring if he hits a gapper.
He's going, and it's a swing and a miss. And the inning is over with strikeout number 8 for Jay Happ. No runs, a hit, a man left. It is 4-4 after 4. To have a roof on Miller Park here, as it has been raining. It's a 4-4 game. Brian Bogusevic swings at the first pitch and gets it into right field past a diving Ricky Weeks. So Bogusevic, who had walked and grounded out, this time gets on with a hit leading off the frame.
Well, there's that more aggressive approach Brad Mills was looking for. First pitch swinging there from Bogusevic. Greg was talking in the pregame about all the ground balls Brian has been hitting to second base. This time he does pull the ball on the ground, rolls over on it, but hits it with enough authority and in the right spot. It turns into a knock. And that's the nature of baseball, isn't it? If that's a little bit over the other way, it's a routine ground ball, and you're going, there's Bogey grounding out to second again.
Very much so.
Instead, we're going, see, that aggressive approach is paying off. You got a base hit through the hole.
Chris Johnson's 0 for 2.
It's a results-oriented business.
Oh, isn't it, though? Numbers, numbers, numbers. There's ball one. That's hit number 7 for the Astros.
Don't give me try. Anybody could try.
Chris Snyder's on deck. Markham throwing over to first. He's thrown 85 pitches.
I love that story from the Red Sox game the other night when Aceves was out there and he gave up a deep fly ball. But it stayed in the park, and Valentine went out to visit him and said, man, you're trying to kill me here with all the stress I've been under? Just providing a little light moment out there on the mound.
Well, they've been hit by the injury bug, though. The Astros have left 154 men on base, and that's most of the majors. That's 31 more than Texas, 32 more than the Yankees.
And a high percentage of them have come with the bases loaded because they've failed 21 times, so there's 63 of them right there.
Markham fakes to second. He was going to throw, and then he saw he couldn't get Bogusevic, so he got the out at first on Johnson. One out runner at second. Yeah, but the good thing is they've had men on base. They've had opportunities.
Right. To me, that statistic we just showed is a positive statistic. And Markham he was trying to get the linebacker to bite there, and he wouldn't, so he had to dump it off to his tailback out of the backfield. And he almost fell on his backside, too. Because if you notice those two teams just below the Astros in that runners left on base statistic, where they are in the standings.
Yeah, they're pretty good, aren't they?
Yankees tied with Baltimore for first in the AL East. Rangers atop the AL West.
Chris Snyder has been hit by a pitch and scored.
It's a function of having so many base runners. If you have a lot of base runners, you're going to leave a lot on.
Yeah.
Now, if you're leaving a lot on and you're not scoring runs, then you got a problem.
Right. You can do a lot with numbers, but 18 games,
well, you can't. Not everybody's going to score. It's just. They're hitting 290 or whatever it is with runners in scoring position.
Yep, 294.
Yeah. It's very difficult for me to find fault. I mean, if you're looking for a reason, it's again, I think it goes back to the power, the fact that they don't hit a lot of home runs and they're not hitting bases clearing doubles and things of that nature. But that's just the makeup of the team.
They're 8th in the league in slugging percentage.
You can't coach guys up from being singles hitters into being home run hitters.
It's 2-1. 2 for 7 today. Milwaukee is 0 for 5.
So I jokingly said to Brad Mills today, you got to put the home run sign on more often. If it only were that easy.
Yeah. And then the next question is going to be, somebody out there is thinking, well, okay, if you've got all these hits, high on base average, not much power, are you going to put runners in motion more?
And again, I would argue, yes, if you're not scoring enough runs. But they're scoring plenty of runs. The pitching has kind of turned south here lately.
It has. Just those elements have to be in combination and working well with the pitching, good defensive play, and the hitting in a major league game. And if one of the three is in a letdown phase, it makes it much more difficult to win a game. Now, the Astros have scored 12 runs in a game. They've scored 11 runs in another game. They've made 4 errors in a game twice. Three balls, 2 strikes, but it's too small a sample size to draw a lot from it 18 games in. Now, if it's 40 games in, you've got more of a sample to work with there. Some more conclusions can be drawn. Not that that is a magical number either. Bogusevic, the runner at second. And there are 3 infielders there on that side of the infield between second and third.
Now Chris Snyder could use a hit here.
He does get a hit into center field. Bogusevic to third, gets stopped there. Gomez has a big time arm. A single for Snyder makes it first and third, 1 out, and Dave Clark with a good stop, even though the pitcher is coming up next, at least the pitcher's spot. And it is going to be Jay Happ hitting.
Now, with 2 outs in the inning, if you're not going to pinch hit, you probably gamble and send him and hope for an errant throw. But 1 out in the inning, a wise decision. He would have been an easy out. But a good swing for Chris. He was just 2 out of 26 prior to that one. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the RBI, but good solid line drive single.
Well, for instance, that's happened a lot. Bogey around third, but he was stopped, so he didn't score from second on a single, but that was a prudent decision by Dave Clark. Happ hit the ball well on a line to right field last time. He sacrificed first time up. Now around a bunt, he takes strike 1. So sometimes you're getting hits with men in scoring position, but a guy can't score from second base on a single. And it looks good with that batting average with runners in scoring position, but the run didn't score. Bunted foul.
Jay changed his bat angle there at the last, trying to direct that ball towards third base.
Now he's not going to have that luxury. He's down in the count 0-2. He needs to get it down.
Just needs to get it dead out in front of home plate. To get Snyder over to second. Bogusevic can come down the line with the pitch and then just read it. It's a good bunt. Dash home.
Happ looks at it, and he was ready to swing away that time. 1-2 to Jay. Markham is at 95 pitches.
And the downside of letting him swing here, of course, is if he grounds into a double play, the inning's over. If he tries to bunt and fouls it off, he's out, but Schaefer still has a shot.
Right there for strike 3. 2 outs. Now Schaefer. Schaefer's 0 for 3 with 2 punch outs. Markham can become a free agent after this season. In a 4-4 game here, it's a big confrontation. The Astros have 8 hits off him. He's thrown 96 pitches. But if he can get Schaefer, he's still in a tie game, still hanging in. Altuve's on deck. And there is warm-up action now for the Brewers, a right-hander working in their bullpen.
There's been 1, 2, 3 half innings so far in this game. That was the Astros' third.
Strike to Schaefer. Now, for a lot of different factors, it would appear that this might be the last guy Markham's going to be facing here. Now Lucroy's going out. They have a pitcher warming up. That's one of the factors. Schaefer is 0 for 3. That's Tim Dillard.
Yeah, the sidewinder. Maybe they figure maybe a submariner can get Altuve out. Nobody else can.
Yeah. And Schaefer's 0 for 3 against Markham, so leave him in. Altuve's 3 for 3 against Markham. Markham's at almost 100 pitches for the day. And then he pulls that one out of his back pocket, and it's 0-2. And it's looking good so far for Ron Renicky to leave him in at 98 pitches. But to ask any more than this one batter out of him might be pushing the envelope. Hit outside the left field line, and that's going to be just foul. Yeah, that was closer than it looked like coming off the bat. Well, if that lands fair, it's getting very interesting in this game with Altuve coming up, and then Martinez possibly. Here it is.
Ron obviously knew it was foul at that point. He was breaking it down, but from our perspective, it turned out to be a lot closer than when it first left the bat.
Sure did. Colorado just scored once in the top of the 8th to break the tie at Pittsburgh, leading 2-1 now, bottom of the 8th inning. Markham was walked 4, and he's given up 8 hits, so 12 base runners there. There's been a wild pitch, but he strikes out Schaefer for the 3rd time to keep the game tied 4-4 in the 5th. Lip. It's a 4-4 game, and starting pitchers trying to keep a stiff upper lip in this one, the way they've been banged around. But Sean Markham just got strikeout number 7 with 2 men on to end the top of the 5th, keep the game tied. While these folks are skipping school today and having a good time with one of those special promotions the Brewers have while school is still in session. And it'll be Braun, Ramirez, and Hart due up against Jay Happ here in the home 5th inning. Ryan Braun 2 for 2, 2-run homer and a single.
Yeah, this could be one of those swing innings. The Astros unable to cash in last inning, and now Happ has to deal with 3, 4, 5.
That's to left field, backing up J.D. Martinez, and on the warning track he snags it.
Yeah. Braun is locked in.
He really is. J.D. got back for out number 1 on 1 pitch for Jay. Ramos Ramirez has a walk and a double.
Well, Braun first pitch swinging there might buy an easy strike here. Ramirez loves to swing at that first pitch, but he might be taking one here.
He does, and it's ball 1. 95 pitches for Jay Happ. Strike makes it 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike to Ramirez, with Corey Hart waiting next.
He's swinging. Wow.
That's a good pitch.
Showing tremendous restraint.
2-2. Carlos leads right there, taking it to the bag. 2 outs. One of the scouts was talking about how well Carlos is playing at first base this year. 99 pitches for Jay Happ.
Carlos played well at first base last year. He's got good hands. Every now and then he'll have a problem with a pop-up, which is ironic, having come from the outfield.
Yeah.
But his glove work around the bag is fine.
Corey Hart with a walk and a strikeout comes around for the 3rd time. Alex Gonzalez on deck. Infield shifts around. There's ball 1. That's been a constant for Corey throughout this series. Those 3 infielders between 2nd and 3rd most of the time, if there's not a runner at first. He cracks this one just foul. Whoops. Through the wickets. He'll be out for extra ground ball work after the game.
Just late and get down. You know, we talk a lot about start with the hands down and then react up. That's what he didn't do. He had the hands up.
Well, I didn't like
to go down.
Yeah, I didn't like his wide stance either, JD. Feet were too wide on that.
Get him out with some fungos tomorrow, Brownie.
Smashed to center field. Schaefer backing on it, still going. It's over his head. One hops the wall, and Hart is in with a 2-out double. Double number 6 for Hart. The Brewers have had hits in every inning.
Last night Corey Hart hit a home run, a little left up straightaway center field, but a massive blast. This time a good solid line drive over the head of Schaefer, who's been outstanding defensively this year. Just not enough time, not enough hang time on that ball for him to run under it.
That's hit number 7 for the Brewers. They have 2 homers and 2 doubles among their 7. The Astros have 8 hits, 7 singles, and a double. Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Fly ball and a strikeout. This one goes to center. Schaefer over for the grab to end the 5th inning, and it's no runs, a hit. 1 man left after 5. It's Markham and Happ. Who's going to come out for the 6th? It's tied 4-4. After 5, 8 hits for Houston, 7 for Milwaukee. We look ahead. Tomorrow's an off day, but then Friday through Sunday, the Astros are in Cincinnati for a weekend series, an NL Central battle. All 3 games coming your way on FS Houston. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, mid-afternoon, and Sunday earlier afternoon. It's the Astros and the Reds coming your way from Great American Ballpark. Well, Sean Markham is not answering the bell for inning number 6. The pitch count got too high. He had been in constant trouble. He did have 1 1-2-3 inning, the 3rd, but the Astros have stranded 9. Well, Markham gives way now in this tie game to Tim Dillard. He is the son of former Major League infielder Steve Dillard. And in 8 games, he has no decisions with an ERA of 6.
A sidewinding right-hander comes in to face 3 consecutive right-handed batters, Altuve, Martinez, Lee, and then the switch hitter Lowry.
Altuve is 3 for 3, an RBI, 2 runs scored. What a day for Jose Altuve. Almost got hit by the pitch on ball 1. Sean Markham in 5 innings allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. He walked 4 and fanned 7. That's a full day's work packed into 5 innings.
Can't win, he can't lose. He can't feel too good about his day, but he hung in there, and after the Astros posted that 3 in the second, he pitched shutout baseball. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Astros have action in their bullpen as well.
Well, as they say in the clubhouse, JD, I kept my club in the game. Wanted to.
As long as my club scores me 4, I'm still in there. Here's that sidearm delivery from Dillard as he dips his shoulders.
Grounder back to him. And he throws sidearm to first base.
Yeah, because there's a lot of those guys, when they try to come over the top, are just horrible. They have no idea how to throw the ball conventionally. And I'm going to guess that he's one of them.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah. That you store that in the back of your mind for a situation later on where you might bunt the ball back to him and see what kind of a throw he makes, because that was a bit of an effort there.
Travis Ishikawa hanging in on that sinker. J.D. Martinez beats it into the ground. It goes on 2 hops to Aramis Ramirez. 2 outs for Dillard. This Brewer bullpen has been very vulnerable at this stage of the game. 6th, 7th innings with a 4.79 overall bullpen ERA. They're great when they get past 7 with K-Rod and Axford. Carlos Lee, as you see Wilton Lopez warming up for Houston, comes up for the 4th time. He has 2 walks and an RBI single. Dillard hasn't pitched since Saturday against the Rockies when he went 2 innings, allowing 2 hits and a run. Gave up a solo homer to Todd Helton in that game. He pounds it in for strike 1. Speaking of Todd Helton, the Rockies lead 2-1 at Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 9th in game 1 of a doubleheader. With Rafael Betancourt in trying to save it. Looked like a slider there, and it's 1-1. Dillard made an opening day roster for the first time in his career this year. And he had 3 different stints last year with the Brewers. They drafted him in 2002 in the 34th round. He's from Sarasota, Florida. Grounded on 2 hops to 3rd. Well, he got 3 ground ball outs. And the second 1-2-3 inning for the Brewers keeps the game tied 4-4.
Bottom of the inning, Pink in the Park returns to Minute Maid Park May 4th through the 9th. The week will support the Methodist Cancer Center and raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research. The Astros host the Cardinals on Friday, May 4th. 10,000 fans will receive belted pink bags courtesy of the Methodist Cancer Center. Tickets available at astros.com/pink in the park. What a big week it's coming up at Minute Maid Park. And it's a big one here, Brownie and JD. They're off.
Well, the Thoroughbred Racing Sausages not putting on such a show this series. It's really rather disappointing. The huge lead.
Cheated.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. It was the first couple sausages were well out before the go. On your mark, and he was going.
Well, the integrity of the racing sausages is coming into question here in Milwaukee this trip.
The sausages could go down and race for the Saints.
Wilton Lopez gets a foul ball. It's 0-2 to Jonathan Lucroy. If we find out that those sausages have been bugging the opposing sausages dressing rooms, it's going to be very disappointing.
We'll have a scandal.
Wilton Lopez is 1-0. His ERA is 1.69.
Well, Dillard came in there and got 3 quick ground ball outs. That's Wilton Lopez's game as well for his career, better than 2 ground balls for every fly ball. Sinker slider changeup. Well, the former Padre farmhand who has done very good work since joining the Astros. Came to the big leagues in 2009. Has been a very solid contributor to the bullpen. 73 times he went to the mound last year.
Ground ball, and to his right, Jed Lowry.
And you could forgive the Astros infielders if they weren't all that engaged, because with Jay out there with all the strikeouts he was getting, there were only 2 ground ball outs. A ground ball to second base by LaCroix in the 3rd, and then the Ramirez ground ball to Carlos last inning. Everything else was in the air or a strikeout.
Jay Happ with his 5 innings of work, allowing 7 hits, 4 runs, walking 2, fanning 8 through 103 pitches, 64 for strikes. Ishikawa homered off Happ in the 2nd inning, then he struck out in the 4th. So similar numbers for Markham and Happ, both going 5, both not involved in the decision today. Battle of the bullpens. And there's ball 1 to Ishikawa.
Brad Mills would have loved to have gotten at least 1 more out of Jay Happ this afternoon, but the good news is he's got a day off coming tomorrow. So he knows all of his guys in the pen will get tomorrow off.
And Milwaukee warming up because the pitcher's spot is due up next, and possible pinch hitters on deck. Nigel Morgan. (3-0) to Ishikawa. Morgan apparently will hit for Dillard. Fly ball, and Lowry is out in shallow left center field. Martinez behind him calls him off it. And on the 3-0 pitch, he gets him.
Not often you see an 8-hole hitter get green lighted on 3-0, but Ishikawa homered yesterday, homered today. So understandable that Ron Renicky would turn him loose there.
Now the pinch hitter, Nigel Morgan. He came into this series hitting under 120, but has had some big hits in this series, up to 170 now, 8 for 47, 0 for 4 pinch hitting. You say up to 170, you realize the neighborhood he's been living in. Strike to Morgan. That means Dillard goes 1 inning, allowing no hits, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. 3 ground ball outs for Dillard. Bernie the Brewer has been nervously pacing around ever since the 2nd inning long ball by Ishikawa sent him down the slide.
Bernie had too much coffee this morning.
He's not the only one. Fouled away by Niger. Had 3 hits in last night's game. Was hit by a pitch Monday night. Niger hit .304 last season. The .288 lifetime major league hitter. Stock at 170. Wilton Lopez would like to knock him down a peg from there. Ricky Weeks is on deck. And he whiffs him for a 1-2-3 6th inning. The relief corps is in and setting a tone in a scoreless 6th inning to keep the game at 4-4.
Houston is over $600 1-1. Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Hyundai. New Hyundai owners are talking about their cars in the booth. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. What are they making? Peanut butter?
Chocolate covered peanuts.
Ah.
A real delicacy here in Milwaukee, Greg, and we should try some before we leave town.
That's off my list.
Okay, not on your plan?
Yeah.
Jose Veras comes in a 4-4 ball game. With 1 inning, the Astros roughed him up Monday. 4 hits, 3 runs, walking 1, fanning 2. He needed 31 pitches in that game, and they'd love to do that again here in the 7th inning and snap this tie.
Yeah, he was not particularly sharp, not sharp at all in that ball game. We've seen him very good in the past with Pittsburgh.
He came in a trade from Pittsburgh for third baseman Casey McGee last December. Jed Lowry is 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to center. He'll be followed by Bogusevic and Johnson.
Bears can rush it up there pretty good. Fastball sits at about 94. That one clocked at 92. Got a good curveball and a split finger pitch.
The attendance today is 26,778.
Astros and all the clubs will keep charts in their dugout. They'll have them on the walls, and they'll have all the guys in the pen, and they'll have what they throw, the percentage, how many, what percentage of fastballs they throw, what percentage of sliders, their velocities, just so the hitters can kind of look it over and get a sense of what each guy coming out of that bullpen brings to the table.
Veras misses. Now, Mike Barnett said that Jose Veras, you look at those percentages you talked about on him. Well, you need to look beyond that, because if you see him twice in a series, he's a different type pitcher the second time than he was the first time. He swings from different stuff from one outing to the next.
Good sink on that fastball. When we saw him last year, there were times where I thought he relied on his breaking ball too much, because he's got a good arm. He's a real hard thrower. But he doesn't seem to trust it as much. Already here, he's behind in the count, nibbling when probably doesn't need to.
Lowry with a good cut.
It's always hard to know. It's hard to crawl inside a pitcher's head. He might not be nibbling. He might just be missing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes guys throw balls because they're trying to pick at corners. Other times they're shooting for the middle of the plate, but they just don't command it.
There's 31 years old, listed at 6'5". Joe West has called a whole lot of pitches today. Well over 200 pitches have been thrown so far in this game.
The organist was just playing the Gilligan's Island theme song.
Okay. Any particular
I
reason
don't
for
know.
that?
That's what I'm trying to. I didn't know if that was just some angle there.
Probably not.
Varys nicknamed the skipper.
Struck him out with a heater. Strikeout number 8 for Milwaukee pitching.
Tough day for Jed. 3 punch outs. Last time he hit the ball pretty well, but flew out to center field with the bases loaded. Pulled off of that one.
Our producer, Wade Robinson, thinks it might be about all the Astros base runners stranded on Gilligan's Island.
Now, the guy, remember Vince Lashide in Pittsburgh years ago, used to always play. He had theme music on his organ for different guys. He played for Andy Van Slyke. He would play the Dick Van Dyke theme song.
That's close. Bogusevic has a walk and a single. And there's ball 1 to him.
Thought with Jed up there, they might play the Beverly Hillbillies theme music. I don't know how well that translates to the ballpark organ.
Not too sure. Andy Van Slyke's son now playing at AAA, I believe, Scott. And a good prospect. 2 balls, no strikes.
Situation Brad Mills was talking about earlier, looking for Brian to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's in counts like this. Go ahead, take a big swing. Joe West having a conversation with somebody over in the Brewers dugout who didn't like that call. Somebody no doubt yelled, "That ball's not low." And Joe said, "Yes, it is. Leave me alone. Let me do my job."
Bogey takes it.
Yeah, see that? The ball was running away from him a little bit, but I think that's the type of situation where Mike Barnett, Brad Mills would like to see Brian go ahead and just let her fly. Take a big swing on 2-0.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Because your opportunity to take that big swing diminishes with each strike because you want to be a little more cautious, certainly in a 2-strike count. Looking to shorten the stroke a little bit, just make solid contact.
Who's the umpire with the biggest strike zone that you could think of?
Currently working?
Anytime.
Oh, anytime?
Yeah.
Well, 2 come to mind. Frank Pulley and Eric Gregg.
Oh, yeah. Eric Gregg, when those Braves pitchers started hitting spots off the corners, had a huge strike zone. The Braves catchers would move out and present that target way out off the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They'd hit the mitt and he'd call it a strike. Foul back. The catchers can't set up that way anymore. Out of the catcher's box.
Oh, wasn't it Eric that was behind the plate maybe for the first game in Marlins history, and Levon was throwing the ball about a foot outside, punched out like 15 or something?
Yes, it was.
Kind of got caught up in the moment.
Yeah, he made some history. Slicing line drive headed for the left field corner. Bogusevic has extra bases into that corner. Heads for second. The ball rolls around for Braun, and it's a double for Bogey. He shot it hard to left field for his second 2-base hit of the year.
A good day for Brian. Walk, single, now opposite field double, carving that ball into the left field corner. So he didn't take the big aggressive hack 2-0, but a good swing here at this fastball. Is down and in a little bit, just inside outs it with authority. The Astros have the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Braun had a carom to play. That's hit number 9 for the Astros. Bogusevic in scoring position for Chris Johnson. CJ 0 for 3. He takes off for third. Here's no throw now from Lucroy. He had to cross behind the right-handed batter. Yeah, it was a good play to get there with 1 out in the inning.
Great play. Good aggressive baseball. Oh, you got to love that. Get there early. 1 out, sac fly, get you home. Now they got to pull the infield in. And he never made him stop. Weeks was pinching him a little bit, but Veras took one look and never really made Brian stop. Watch, he's chattering and goes.
Infielders in now. And this fly ball heads for shallow right center field. Bogusevic tagging. Here's Gomez with a big time arm. Here's the catch and the throw, and Bogey will stop, and it's cut off. 2 outs.
Yeah, just not deep enough to go, especially with Gomez out there. Hart has a good arm too, but Gomez clearly the guy they wanted to handle that ball, and then it was, Hart certainly was willing to yield to Gomez there. He had time to come all the way over from his center field position and get squared up behind that ball.
Gomez unleashed one, and now with 2 outs, it's Chris Snyder trying for a hit to give the Astros the lead. Travis Buck is in the on-deck circle with a pitcher spot due up next. Snyder has been hit by a pitch, and he is single to center. That's ball 1.
Curveball in the dirt. Got to be ready for it.
Veras made 79 appearances last year for the Buccos. Now Lucroy is looking down because Bogey is making sure he's ready to score if that pitch gets away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Lucroy kind of dropping his right leg as he catches that curveball, so he's almost going into block mode, as the pitch is being delivered. At least he did on the last one. Not here, fastball.
1-2. He's throwing 95. Colorado beat Pittsburgh 2-1. A win for Matt Reynolds, a loss for Chris Resop. Rafael Betancourt got his 6th save. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Breaking pitch, and it's 2-2. St. Louis scored a run in the 3rd at Wrigley to take a 1-0 lead over the Cubs with Lance Lynn on the mound. Another breaking pitch, tap foul. Now Veras was really struggling other than with his fastball Monday night. But when he needed to throw some breaking pitches that were effective, he did. Even though he gave up 3 runs, there was still a couple of men on base when he got out of the inning. He struck out Altuve looking on a breaking ball.
Kind of like he found his release point late in the inning.
Misses there, and now it's a full count.
Just tried to throw that one 110 miles an hour. Just overthrew it, missed badly. Troy wanted him to come in. I suspect they're going to go breaking ball away here. If you're Chris Snyder, you can't just disregard the notion of him throwing a fastball, because he does throw 95 miles an hour, but he likes to throw his breaking ball. They got Chris when Markham was out there on a breaking ball off the outside corner. Just depends on what their thinking is, whether they're willing to walk him or not.
Snyder shoots one into right field. That gives the Astros the lead 5-4 as he hit it by Ishikawa for an RBI single and a 2-hit game for Snyder. His 3rd run batted into the season puts Bogusevic home with a go-ahead run.
Yeah, the shift was on, playing him to pull, but Snyder with the fastball away, and he's staying back because of the breaking ball. Just fights this one off and shoots it the other way. See Ishikawa way off the line there, and Snyder able to drive in the go-ahead run. Good, tough at-bat for Snyder. I really thought the breaking ball was probably the pitch to make there. And again, if you're the Brewers, if you're LaCroix, the risk is if he takes it, it's a ball, and you have to start all over with another hitter.
Now pinch hitter Justin Maxwell is batting for Wilton Lopez. Lopez worked a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout. There's strike one to Maxwell. Oh, what a big 2-out, 2-strike hit that was for Snyder to snap the tie. 278 for Maxwell with a homer. He's driven in 3. He's had 18 at bats as a pinch hitter. 3 for 7, 1 homer, 3 runs batted in.
Wow, they did him a favor throwing him a fastball there after the swing he had at that first breaking ball. Justin's dad, both of his parents are dentists, and his dad was a dentist to President Bush and President Clinton.
Didn't know that.
That's why he has such good teeth.
So he won't be eating any of those chocolate covered peanuts probably later today. In the dirt.
If he does, he'll floss.
1-2. Justin had a pinch homer at his first at bat as an Astro. Made a couple of starts. Coming off the bench here to try to keep this rally going with Schaefer on deck. The Astros have 10 hits, breaking through again in double figures. Fourth straight game they've been in double figures in hits. 2-2. Check swing. It's gloved by Veras for the third out. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left for the Astros. At 7th inning stretch time, it's 5-4 Houston. The Astros snapped the 4-4 tie. They had not scored since the second, but Chris Snyder came up with a big 2-out, 2-strike RBI single to give them this 1-run lead. As David Carpenter comes in for the bottom of the 7th inning now. He is the most rested reliever, so to speak, in the Houston bullpen, having pitched Saturday against the Dodgers with those numbers for the year.
Chance for the Astros to salvage a win in this series. Now it goes to the rest of the bullpen. Well, Lopez was really good. A quick 1-2-3 inning. Carpenter 1-1 with a 2.57 ERA. And he's a power guy. He's going to come at you with fastball, slider, and once in a great while change up to a left-handed hitter, but mostly fastball, slider. And we'll see him at 94, 95 miles an hour.
Ricky Weeks, first man up. Takes the slider, ball 1. He's 1 for 3. Carpenter puts that one in over the edge, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for David, who's pitched scoreless baseball in each of his last 3 outings.
Back in the second inning, we thought it was going to take 10 runs to win this ball game.
That's true.
Pitchers have hung in there, and hasn't been a whole lot going on since the third.
Bogusevic comes over in right field toward the line. That's 1 down for Carpenter. Well, the last time the Brewers scored was on a wild pitch in the 3rd inning. That gave them a 4-4 tie. It stayed that way until a few minutes ago when the Astros broke through in the 7th. So Bernie has been reduced to styling up there rather than sliding. Carlos Gomez is 1 for 3. Chris Johnson in tied at 3rd because Gomez often tries to bunt. Strike to Gomez. Gomez had a broken left collarbone last year, making a catch in the outfield. Bunts and it goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. In 08 with the Twins, he had 30 bunt hits. Gonzalez, very talented player, 26 years old. It's going to be interesting to see where his career winds up. And reduced to part-time status right now with Niger Morgan and a platoon in center field. One and 2. That one got away up around his head. He snapped back.
He's a very emotional player, and obviously that's going to get anybody's attention. There was no intention there from Carpenter, but still, when it's up around your head, you tend to take umbrage.
Angry reaction. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Carlos Gomez. Ten hits for the Astros, 7 for the Brewers. Milwaukee has the only error in the game. Now 3 and 2. The first time this season David Carpenter has pitched in this situation. 1-run lead in the 7th inning to protect. He lets it go, and it's strike 3. Gomez caught looking for out number 2. Strikeout number 10 for Houston pitching today.
Well, I think that fastball up around the coconut kind of took him out of that at bat.
Looked like it.
Never really looked all that comfortable the rest of the sequence, and the borderline pitch that for the most part has been a ball today. The one out there, Joe West rings him up on.
Ryan Braun with a 2-run homer and a single in 3 at-bats. He's had a big day. Carpenter made 34 Houston appearances last season. He had 1 save.
They got Braun out last time, but he hit a rocket to left field. He's been on it all afternoon long.
Carpenter struck out 29 in 27 innings at the major league level last year. He was also at Corpus Christi and Oklahoma City. So he was on the quick path to the big leagues and did well once he arrived. 0-2. He's from Morgantown, West Virginia, and those were some fun games in Pittsburgh when his family and friends came up to see him pitch at PNC Park.
Blew a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right by Ryan Braun.
Right-handed hitters are hitting 143 against him. And then slides it by him away. Braun flings the bat and the helmet down. And Carpenter has a 1-2-3 7th inning, protecting the 5-4 lead through 7.
The top of the 8th. If you're enjoying this game, how about trying Fox Saturday Baseball? Because it returns this week when Ryan Braun and these same Brewers head to St. Louis to take on Matt Holliday and the Cardinals in a showdown between NL Central contenders. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 11:30 a.m. Central following MLB Player Poll, which airs at a special time. I believe that MLB Player Poll will be interesting. Find out what they asked them.
Here's Mike McClendon, recall from AAA Nashville on Friday, made his debut Saturday against Colorado, 27 years old, from Arlington, Texas, lives in Corpus Christi, 10th round pick of the Brewers in 06, and in the minors he was 1-0 with a 1.17 ERA at Nashville in 5 games.
9 games for the Brewers last year, 17 games for them in 2010. He throws a lot of sliders. Looks like a sinker there at 89.
Jordan Schaefer's 0 for 4 with 3 punch-outs. And he's now struck out 27 times this year. And Jordan's had 70 at-bats this season. 2 balls, no strikes. But his on-base average coming into this game was .368.
Well, he's got that streak going of reaching base in every game to start the season.
18 in a row, and this could be his last time up.
Well, there you go. Ooh, didn't have to be, Joe. That could have been a hair low.
3-1. Longest streak of reaching base to open a season since Craig Biggio in 2000. Strike makes it 3-2. The club record is Dennis Menke, who reached in the first 25 games of the 1969 season. Shot into center. He's on. 4-game hitting streak, and he's been on in all 19 Houston games.
Now the Astros with a chance to play a little add-on here in the late innings. The leadoff single by Schaefer. Decision time for Brad Mills. Run him over or let him try to steal a base or play a little hit and run.
Well, you've got a hot hitter at the plate who's 3 for 4 today. He's had a big series. Has a .421 on base average, .368 batting average. Going to be interesting. He takes strike 1. Third baseman Ramirez is in close. Double play depth for Gonzalez and Weeks. It's 11 hits for the Astros, 7 for the Brewers. Schaefer has 6 steals in 8 tries. He draws the throw.
And taking that first pitch there, they get a chance to see how quick McClendon is to home plate with his delivery. Bobby Meacham over there sharing that information with Schaefer. LaCroix, the catcher, throws well.
McClendon is advertising there on Schaefer that he's going to watch him. St. Louis won, Chicago won. They've played 4 at Wrigley after a rain delay. Ryan LaHare hit another homer, his 4th of the year. No balls, 2 strikes now to Altuve. J.D. Martinez is on deck. McClendon faced the Astros a couple times in 2010 with an ERA of 0. That's up the right field line. That's in for a hit. Headed for the corner. Hart over to dig it out. Schaefer being stopped at third by Dave Clark on a double by Altuve. His 4th hit for a new single game major league high for Altuve. A 4-hit game, and that is double number 5 for him.
Well, we talked earlier in the ball game about Altuve after falling behind in the count, the kind of damage he's done so far this year, and it's otherworldly. He came into this game after falling behind 0-2. He was hitting .385, and that ball up in his eyes, and he's still able to whack it into the right field corner.
That was fun. Oh, is he fun to watch. What a hitting machine. Now the infielders in tight. J.D. Martinez the batter. He has a double, a single, and a walk. Runners at second and third, nobody out, and this big opportunity to stretch the lead. There's strike 1. Against this Milwaukee club, a 1-run lead is not comfortable. They're an explosive bunch. They have Ramirez, Hart, and Gonzalez due up in the bottom of the 8th. It would be nice to have a couple more runs.
Yeah, like we said earlier, you never know what's going to be the run that beats you, or the winning run for you. You know, you've got to play hard and try to cash them all in. But certainly later in the game, you get into that 1-run mentality.
8 out of 13 times J.D. Martinez has delivered, 62%, with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. He taps that foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With Carlos Lee on deck. Coming into this game, the Astros pitchers had allowed 76 runs compared to the Brewers pitchers allowing 90. Brewers have the highest ERA right now in the National League. 2-2.
Clemens a little funky with his delivery. He'll
Yeah.
quick pitch you from time to time. He's kind of comes set slowly and then boom goes.
Mm-hmm. Ball 3, and it's 3-2. Monday night, that's a strike for Zach Greinke, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Full count now. Martinez rips one into left center field. That'll score 1, and here is the throw to the plate on Altuve. He scores as well. 2-run single for Martinez, as the throw from Gomez was a little offline, and J.D. drives in a couple to give him 17 runs batted in. What a big hit to make it 7-4.
Yeah, what a day for the youngsters Altuve and Martinez, just punishing the Brewers pitching staff here this afternoon. You do not want to mess with this Astros club on getaway day. That's becoming apparent. Gonzalez comes up, gets every little bit of it into that throw, but it's up the line a little bit, and Altuve scoots on by.
3rd hit for J.D. Third run batted in now. Carlos Lee, the batter. Ball 1 to him. Carlos with an RBI single and 2 walks. Tries to keep the inning going after 3 consecutive hits off McClendon. Chad Lowry's on deck. Carlos cracks one to Aramis Ramirez, who drops it. Now no play at second, and he gets the out at first. Martinez to second on out number 1.
Certainly hit hard enough where, had he been able to handle it, would have been an easy around the horn double play. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Glendon would have loved it, but now he has 2 more outs to get, and Jed Lowry's the batter. Lowry 0 for 4 with 3 punch outs. Bogusevic is on deck. Gomez moves over a couple steps toward right center field. Lowry looks at ball 1. Lowry and Chris Johnson, the only 2 of the starting 8 who haven't joined the hit column so far in this game for the Astros. Barry Zito goes for the Giants tonight in Cincinnati against Bronson Arroyo.
Going to the game, Brownie?
Hadn't thought about it. Probably not. How about you?
No.
We'll get to see 3 fine major league games in 3
we'll
days.
get enough.
That should do it. You don't want to over hustle in the month of April.
Yeah. Baseball to be viewed. We're getting our fill here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, we are. We're getting
about 13 hours worth of this 3-game series.
Yes, we are.
Good thing we started at noon today.
Very good thing. Somebody knew it was going to be a long game.
We'll be able to make it in to watch Modern Family tonight.
Can't miss Modern Family. 3 balls, no strikes. 3-hour ball game here in another 10 minutes or so. Well, 8 minutes. That bat is a little bit to the right. Strike, and it's 3-1.
I'm guessing Jed wanted that to be a strike.
So he can hit?
Yeah. 0 for 4 with 3 punch outs.
Sure. He cracks one, and it's right there.
Oh, no.
Yep, hit it right at him. For out number 2, Martinez over to third base. It sounded great coming off the bat.
Can't hit it any harder than that. That's when you know it's not your day.
He got into it. Here it is.
Weeks maybe caught this ball in the air.
Almost did. Deflected off the glove of McClendon over to Weeks. Boy, screaming liner. Now Bogusevic. 2 hits and a walk for Bryan. Strike for McClendon. Now the scouts are talking about it. Some of the opposing pitchers are talking about it. These Astros hitters, they just keep grinding in the late innings. There's a shot foul. I think that's a major difference between this year's Astros team compared to last year. Last year, quite often the Astros would get down in a game and they'd go out 1, 2, 3 so many times. With this group this year, and some of the players, of course, as you know, are the same. They're just battling a lot more, even when they're down late in the game. That's a strikeout, but they get 2 runs on 3 hits and leave a man at third, and it's 7-4 Houston.
Go to the bottom of the 8th. Hey, if you're hitting the road, you can take the Astros with you this year. Subscribe to MLB.tv today, and you can see every Astros out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, where baseball is everywhere.
Thanks, Greg. It's 7-4. The Astros lead it. Bottom of the 8th inning finds Ramos Ramirez leading it off against David Carpenter. Ramirez has a walk, a double, and a ground out. Carpenter had a 1-2-3 7th inning with 2 strikeouts. He delivers ball 1. In his second inning of work, he had a 2 scoreless inning relief stint in the 11 inning affair in Miami on April 13th. Gets a call there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
The Brewers have only had 2 base runners since the 3rd inning. And fairly harmless. 2-out single by Weeks in the 4th, 2-out double by Hart in the 5th.
Out to right center field. Schaefer on the run. Bogusevic is there. 1 down.
That bid for extra bases died quietly in the right hand of Brian Bogusevic.
Nice to have a rangy corner outfielder, so the center fielder doesn't have to wear himself slick trying to cover everything.
This ball had some slice, bringing it back to Bogey and Schaefer both in position there to make the catch.
Corey Hart had a double with 2 outs in the 5th inning. That's the last hit the Brewers have had. 8 straight have been retired. He takes strike 1. Colorado and Pittsburgh are just getting underway with game 2 of their doubleheader. No score after 1/2 inning. Oh, 0-2 for David Carpenter. He's thrown 17 pitches so far.
Wesley right now up throwing in the Astros bullpen.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
In case the Brewers get a little something going and they need to neutralize a left-handed hitter, Wesley has to be ready. Ishikawa in the 8-hole in the lineup bats left, and Ron Renick's got 3 left-handed bats plus a switch hitter on his bench.
Foul back. Charlie Morton's pitching for the Pirates today in game 2 of that doubleheader against Yolis Chassin. Renick's club 5-3 on this homestand, getting ready to take off on the road for St. Louis. Off day tomorrow for the Brewers. It's 2-2. The Astros have stranded 11 runners. The Brewers have left 5. Still 2-2.
Happy anniversary to Rick Monday. This is the date in 1976 that Rick rescued the American flag from a couple of trespassers who were trying to set it on fire in the outfield at Dodger Stadium. Rick was a member of the Cubs back then.
Later to become a Dodger, and now a Dodger broadcaster for many years. Deep drive left center field for Hart. Schaefer back, Martinez, and it's a home run. Number 6 for Corey Hart. 7-5 lead for Houston.
The long balls keep flying off the bats of the Brewers in this series. 3rd one today. They had 4 yesterday. Hart hit a massive home run to center field. Kind of out in the same area as this one, but a little bit further last night. Similar looking pitch. He is long and he is strong.
He does have some serious leverage. Now it's a 2-run lead. 8 straight Brewers have been retired. Now they're down with Gonzalez batting with 1 out in the inning. He's 0 for 3. Jonathan Lucroy on deck. Fouled away. There's strike 1. That's the first home run Carpenter has allowed. He's in his 9th inning of work this season. 8 home runs in the 3-game series for the Brewers. 1-1. The Astros now have allowed 21 long balls this season. Phillies got a run in the first at Arizona. They lead 1-0 after 1.5 with Cole Hamels on the mound. 1-2 on a good slider. Some nice downward tilt there for David Carpenter.
Carpenter, you know the story, started as a catcher in the Cardinal minor league system. And it was current Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow who called Carpenter and said, hey, we want to make you a pitcher.
Up the middle into center.
David was not fully on board with that plan initially, but after some time came around to it. He's made his way to the big league. Same story with Jason Mott of the Cardinals. Just the difference between the 2 sliders. You mentioned how that earlier one had the good depth. That one did not. Didn't quite get on top of it. The ball didn't have that good downward break.
Brad Mills is walking to the mound slowly. And as you saw, Fernando Rodriguez and Wesley Wright have been warming up. Lucroy next. He's 0 for 3. Lucroy has struck out and hit the ball on the ground twice. So another ground ball right at somebody would be perfect for David Carpenter and friends right here. Pitcher spot due up third for Houston in the 9th inning. So if Mills could get a double play ball from Carpenter right here, that would be ideal for him.
He's got Wright ready for Ishikawa.
And you would know, JD, more than I, how often a manager might come out and tell a relief pitcher, just one more guy. That's all you're going to be in for. Does that, you think that would help him focus on that if he's been in for a while, or would that make a difference? Or would he even tell him that?
I don't know. He may, depending on the guy, but I've noticed Brad has been going out there more often, though, with these visits to the mound as opposed to sending it broke out. A lot of times I think it's because he wants to talk to his infielders.
0-2. Snyder felt this one right off the mask. And shoulder as well. In the air, foul. Carlos lead with the grab. 2 down. Now Ishikawa. Yeah, he was called back, so he may not be hitting, but he's going to walk up to the plate, see if they bring in Wesley Wright.
Well, the only right-handed bat they have is the switch hitter is Torres. You wouldn't use him.
Carpenter stays in. Ishikawa homered in the 2nd, then he struck out and flied out. Now here comes Brad Mills.
Waiting until Ishikawa was announced.
So it looks like a lefty on lefty matchup coming up. It's 7-5 Houston. Back in a moment. These Brewers hit, they can come back and erase that kind of a lead in a hurry. They're down by 2 with a runner at first. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. And Wesley Wright comes in for Houston with no decisions, 1 hold, and a 7.36 ERA.
And Ron Renicky has gone to his bench pinch hitting here with Cesar Turris. He just didn't like the matchup with Ishikawa, his left-handed hitter, against Wright. Ishikawa, a guy who's really swinging the bat well in this series. But he opts for the switch hitter is Turris. Will bat from the right side as Turris has not had much playing time. Only 1 at bat in the last week.
Yeah, known as a very good glove man at shortstop. And there are the switch hitting breakdowns for Izturis. 266, 15 points higher right-handed. This year he's 0 for 4 right-handed, 214 overall, no homers, 1 RBI for 14 at bats, 3 hits, all singles. He's 0 for 2 pinch hitting.
Aoki has come out on deck to hit the pitcher's spot. Wesley, his most recent appearances, last 5 appearances have been 1 batter appearances, and in 3 of those 5 occasions he's walked the man he's come on to face, left-handed batters all.
Izturis takes the pitch. It's ball 1. The Astros have Johnson, Snyder, and the pitcher's spot due up in the 9th. Wesley Wright faced just that 1 batter and walked him in his most recent outing here 2 nights ago. It's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Wesley walked George Contreras, pinch hitting in the 8th inning Monday night. He has inherited 4 runners and none have scored this year. In the air, and the right fielder Bogusevic sprints over. He's running out of room and sliding, and Bogusevic is there in foul territory with a terrific catch. What a play by Brian Bogusevic. He got a great jump, JD.
He sure did, and look how close he comes to hitting this ball. That could have been ugly, but it sure was pretty. Dandy of a catch.
1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Moving to the 9th, the Astros and Chris Snyder lead it 7-5. Tremendous catch by Brian Bogusevic in foul ground there to end the 8th inning. Just a terrific play. And throws left. He had to reach across his body and slide and make this catch. Very difficult play.
Yeah, the Astros are reinventing drama in foul balls. I mean, the play Altuve made against Kemp on the homestand, the play Lee and Castro made, and now this one.
Yeah. They're on a foul ball roll right now.
Highlight package of foul pops. Very dangerous going that hard towards that wall. Such a good athlete. He saves your runs out there. He and Schaefer both.
Chris Johnson zips it foul. 1-2 to CJ. He's 0 for 4. Now the Astros are really hot on those foul pops. David Carpenter in 1 2/3 innings goes allows 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Foul ball, and Wesley Wright gets the big out on his Torres. His Torres stays in to play first base. And that means the pitcher spot, McClendon's spot, is the first up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Then Weeks, then Gomez, as the Astros try to add to their lead. It's 2-2. Well, a play like that is one that really gives a club a lift. Ball did not look catchable at all for Bogusevic when he took off for it. 3-2. The Astros have lost 11 straight to Milwaukee. Off the pitcher, goes out to shortstop, and Gonzalez with some wizardry had time to backhand it and still get him.
Pretty slick play. This McClendon is one of the better deflecting pitchers I've ever seen. He deflects to second, he deflects to short.
He's an equal opportunity deflector.
This time kind of awkwardly steers one towards Gonzalez, who picks him up
right off his leg. So he's gotten 2 assists here in the last 2 innings on those deflections. Chris Snyder fouls it. Chris has had a big game. He's been on base 3 times. Drove in the go-ahead run in the 7th inning to snap a 4-4 tie. Scored a run back in the 2nd. His Torres at first. Normally a shortstop, but he's also the backup catcher.
The backup catcher.
Yeah, backup
emergency catcher.
Right. That's a better way to put it.
He's only 32. I thought he was older. He's been around a long time.
He sure has. 1-2.
He looks really small at first base, especially with everybody else shifted to the other side of the diamond.
White Sox and Oakland are scoreless. They're in the top of the 4th at Oakland. St. Louis got 3 in the 6th. That's Chicago. 4-1 Cardinals. 2-2. You know, the Cardinals had won 14 consecutive series going back to last year, but they've lost the first 2 of the 3-game series in Chicago. David Freese hit his 4th homer. Snyder's down on strikes. 2 outs. 2nd strikeout for McClendon.
Good sink on that fastball from McClendon. Chris hits it. He's just going to beat it into the ground.
Now the pinch hitter for Wesley Wright is Travis Buck. Travis just getting back to pinch hitting duties, and he should be able to play if the Astros need him to start a game in Cincinnati. 261 on a 6 for 23 start with 4 runs batted in. He's 3 for 5 pinch hitting. Been sidelined by an ouchie hamstring. There's strike 1.
You talking to the grandkids again, Brownie?
Yeah.
I heard you drop that ouchie. I figured you'd been talking to the grandkids.
You're right. 1-1. Got to talk to him every few days, JD.
Check in.
Absolutely. Two balls and a strike to Travis Buck. Formerly with Oakland and Cleveland. He shoots that one the other way, and he's done a job pinch hitting this season. hits to all fields like that, and he is now 4 for 6 as a pinch hitter.
That stroke right there will remind longtime Astro fans of Greg Gross. Gigi is such a good pinch hitter, so adept at hitting the ball the other way.
14 hits for the Astros. Now Buck leaves for a pinch runner.
Lucas Harrell today. Yesterday was Kyle Weiland as we played rotating pinch runners from the starting pitching staff.
Weiland wound up scoring a run as a pinch runner. Jordan Schaefer takes strike one. He singled and scored in the 8th inning to give him a 1 for 5 day. So when he comes out Friday night at Cincinnati, he will have reached base in all 19 games to start the season. This one near the left field line brings Braun over. Foul ball. 0-2. Let's see, he'll face the righty Mike Leake Friday night at Cincinnati as he tries to keep that streak going. And then Johnny Cueto Saturday. Matt Latos Sunday. Jason Castro on the far right, getting a couple of days off after that collision at the plate. Now tomorrow will be a day of rest for everybody, and then Friday night Castro's probably behind the plate against Leake of Cincinnati. Altuve's on deck, and he's had a 4-hit day.
Is that a first, career first for him?
Yes, it is. 1-2. So if you're getting home from work and checking out a ball game, you have missed 4 hits by Altuve. He's driven in a run. He's scored 3. First time he's had 4 hits in a major league game. He now has had 26 hits this year. Bouncer to his Taurus. And in the 9th, it's no runs, a hit, and a man stranded. Moving to the bottom of the 9th, it's 7-5 Astros. Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. The Astros lead at 7-5, and Brett Myers, their closer, comes in to work the bottom of the 9th inning. And he is without a decision, but he's 2 for 2 in saves and a 2.25 ERA. JD.
Working in back-to-back days for the first time this year. He's only pitched 4 times. He came in last night, gave up a solo home run to Carlos Gonzalez. Got a little wiggle room here as the Astros lead by 2. He's never faced Aoki.
Norichka Aoki just took a strike. Takes another one. 0-2. Aoki pinch hitting for McClendon. Clinton in 2 innings allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. In the dirt, it's a 1-2 count to Aoki, who is 5 for 19 as a pinch hitter. He's 2 for 8 with an RBI. Clinton didn't walk anybody. Fan 2. Rolls one out to second. Altuve over. 1 out for Myers. Ricky Weeks is 1 for 4. Well, that's an important out on Aoki because Weeks can beat a pitcher deep to tie the game.
Once you turn the lineup over, you just face one hitter after another who's capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. What you don't want to see happen is Braun step up there with a chance to tie or win the ball game.
Gomez on deck. Strike. Nyjer Morgan has been used as a pinch hitter. Matt Gamble may just be unavailable today because of that sore shoulder from the home plate collision Monday. Almost got him with a breaking pitch that slipped out of his hand. 1-1.
Weeks probably wishing right now that he'd hung in there and taken that one for the team. About the tying run up.
Yep.
Hard to think that way when you see a baseball coming at your head.
Now it's a 2-1 count on the appeal to Sam Holbrook. And he swings and misses. It's 2-2.
Steady diet of breaking balls. Slider, curveball, slider, slider so far from Myers to Weeks.
He lunged at that last one. Weeks has hit .263 against Myers, 5 for 19 with a homer in his career. Now 3-2.
Might be able to lock him up with a fastball after all these breaking pitches.
Bouncer and Altuve to his right. Stops and fires. Good play. He had to get something on that throw because that ball bounced high and gave Weeks time to clip up the first base line. It's out number 2.
Keeps this either off the plate or the dirt right in front of home plate. Big high hop and then the quick exchange from glove to throwing hand for Altuve makes the play.
Two outs and now it's Carlos Gomez. 1 for 4 with Braun on deck. Corner infielders pinch in. His job to get on base no matter how. There's strike 1 to him. Altuve's 4-hit game today is the first by an Astro since Michael Bourne had 4 last July 2nd against Boston. 1-1. Grounded foul outside third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's been a long run. The Astros have lost 11 straight to this Milwaukee club.
Slider away, swing and a miss, ball game over. Nope.
In the air to right center field, and that's going to shoot the gap. Go to the wall. Gomez running hard around second. He's headed for third. Here's the relay, and he's in with a triple. Second triple of the year for Gomez.
Well, was a slider away, but not away, and it stayed on the plate. Gomez went down and gave it a good ride. And this is just, we talked earlier about Gomez and how gifted an athlete he is. and how fast he is, but at times reckless. And no reason to go to third base on this. Down 2 runs with Ryan Braun coming up. He was safe, but he made the last out there.
Yeah. That is a bad decision. You're right.
Ron Renicky would have lost it.
Now the fans are up for Ryan Braun. Braun has a homer and a single and 4 trips.
9 out of 30 against Brett Myers in his career with 2 home runs. It's a .300 batting average.
Ground ball, Chris Johnson.
Thank you very much.
To end it. And the Astros, who had not beaten Milwaukee since May 1st last year in Houston 5-0, end their drought of 11 straight losses to the Brewers. They capture this one with a whole lot of hitting. 7-5, Houston winning.